tell you what we should do one Friday. We should just you should just do a DJ set.
Get everybody up and awake by 7 a.m.
All day party. If you're on stage, if you'd be up for a DJ Paul Abercrombie, aka Captain Crypto DJ set on a Friday, give us a flash of the mic. Who's up for all day drinking? Who's up for all day drinking? I mean, I don't even drink, but I'm up for it. Elliot's flashed. Elliot straight away. Up for it. Up for a party.
We could bring some non-alcoholic beers.
We could do, couldn't we? That would get bloating and sickly quite quick, wouldn't it? What's the point, frankly? Let's get high on life, man.
The world is set up for you to drink. Do you know that? It is. I'll give you an example of last night. So I went out last night. Well, didn't really go out, but I went for a dinner.
Out.
We went to it was quite funny actually, because we went to an Indian restaurant in East London that you can't buy alcohol, right? I won't say the name of it, but there's a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was Lahore, it was the other one. So Tyabs, give the name, it's Tyabs. Probably people know.
Tyabs.
There you go, Tyabs. Yeah, Tyabs, there we go. Right. So there's a Tesco's next door to Tyabs, and you can buy, so you go in there and you buy your drink.
Bring your own bottle.
Bring your own bottle,
Right.
take it in. Right, classy place. I
thought you got somewhere fancy.
So did I. But it was quite funny. Indian food, that food's brilliant in Tyabs. It was brilliant. Right. Went into Tesco's. Do you know the only thing you could buy that was non-alcoholic? A bottle of Sauvignon Blanc non-alcoholic. Now, have you ever tasted white wine non-alcoholic?
No.
Don't bother.
Really?
I can give you a damning approval rating of that. It's not very nice.
Oh, no, I can imagine.
They didn't have, it's in the cold fridge. They didn't have any non-alcoholic beers at all.
It's becoming more popular, isn't it?
Well, not in Tesco's.
No,
in Whitechapel, it wasn't.
They know their market, don't they? Right next door to an Indian restaurant, bring your own bottle, just stack it. I bet there's loads of Cobra in there, wasn't there? Just them big bottles, them 660 bottles of Cobra. Or cold Cobra
the big
and a
ones.
curry. Come on now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
good
the world is set up for you to drink.
There you go.
Plus, do you ever get it when you don't drink? Do people look at you and you're like, you boring bastard? You don't drink. What do you mean you don't drink?
Do you know what I always say? Because it stops all questioning. They're like, you having a drink? I'm like, no, I don't drink actually. They're like, oh really? Yeah, I don't drink anymore. If you say any more, they're like, oh, we had a problem. And no one's touching that can of worms. Honestly, it kills the conversation dead. I do it every time.
I'm not completely teetotal, but like it's an odd occasion, probably twice a year I might have a drink. And so Easter, it was nice weather at Easter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the Friday of Easter, we had some friends over to ours and we was all sitting outside in the garden and stuff. So I think I had a couple of beers throughout the whole day. And on Friday, so you know what they say? It's nice to see you have a drink.
Yes.
Why is it not nice if I don't have a drink?
Yeah. My wife gets this a lot because she's not like teetotal. Everyone knows now that I don't drink because all of our friends used to know me when I did drink. I didn't have a problem with it apart from it gave me gout.
Just your
And
fists were a bit
also-
loose.
Yeah. You love to get naked and love to fight. I don't know why. After 7 pints, I'm like, let's get naked and let's fight. It says a lot about me probably. But Hayley's never really been a drinker. Like ever, we worked abroad, we were holiday reps, and I used to absolutely gun it out there. But she just never has been a drinker. But it's really strange. We do have those people like, we can have a drink tonight. You can have a drink, can't you? And exactly that. Oh, it'd be nice to have a drink. And they almost like force it on you, and she gets really, really annoyed about it. She's like, she says things like, "Oh, I'm going to have a drink tonight." I'm like, "No, you're not. Just say you like drinking." Like, I don't mind when she gets drunk because she gets fruity. I'm like, "Come on, let's get smashed."
That's him. The opposite. So my wife just falls asleep. But my response was straight away. Well, why is it not nice if I don't drink?
Yeah.
Like, how does me not drinking affect your outcome
Enjoyment
of your evening?
night, yeah.
But it's all back on them, isn't it? Psychology, it's all back on them. Like, they feel wrong for what they're doing, and it makes them feel bad because you're sitting there still having a nice time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I look like I'm not having a nice time. That might be the reason.
Have you got a resting bitch face? Is that the problem?
Probably. Well, apparently so. Apparently so. So yeah, there was that happen, and that happened twice. It happened on the Saturday, and then it happened on the Sunday as well. The Sunday I was with family members, and I thought
Double drinking days.
Yeah, that last weekend was bad.
All of your allowance.
When I say a bad weekend, I probably had 4 to 6 bottles of beer throughout the whole weekend.
Okay.
So let's put it into context. But for me, that's a lot of drink. Okay, a lot of alcohol.
I just couldn't do like the drink very occasionally because have you ever seen Old School, the film Old School? And
No.
Will Ferrell turns into Frank the Tank and just gets leathered and just goes naked running around the campus. See, I turn a bit Frank the Tank. It's the old school rep.
What? And you take your clothes off?
I take my clothes off and just have a good time. I can't be trusted, frankly. I can't trust. When you can't trust yourself, it's better not. Because I don't know. I've got no off switch. Like if I'm on, like we're going for it until I fall over, and that's normally how it does end up. So I just don't do it anymore.
Good, Jagdeep's putting in the chat. Try CBD infused edibles before going out.
You can't get them here, though, can you? You can't get them. I went to San Francisco. It's legal. Obviously, you have a lot of like sort of shops for it out there. And we went to see our mates in San Fran. They were like, I didn't do it when we were going out because I don't know how I'm going to react to it. And my mate was like, have an edible. And we sat in their apartment one night and we were watching a film. So I had like a CBD cookie. And my mate said to me, look, these are strong. And he's known me from my drinking days. Like, just in case, he knows if I go, I'm going to go wild. So just have half the cookie, just have half, just to be on the safe side. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So I sat there, ate half. Half an hour goes by. I'm like, this ain't done anything. I'm going to have the other half of the cookie. He's like, okay, if you're sure. So I have the other half of the cookie. But because of these edibles, because it takes time to digest, it doesn't kick in for a little while. So basically, I sat there for another hour, watched this film, by which point it's bedtime. Like, everyone's going to bed. And now I'm baked. And so I've had this cookie. I've watched this weird film. And now I'm stoned. Sat in San Francisco. And everyone's like, we're going to bed now. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I just sat there looking. I was like, aren't ceilings weird? Isn't it weird? Like you have like carpet on your floor. And I just sat there, had the weirdest
conversations
thoughts with myself because everyone else had gone to bed. So yeah, none of this should be condoned. I don't condone drinking or eating of edibles, but it is a good time.
I am really intrigued with the microdosing world as well.
I am, yes.
Because there's just from a creativity perspective and like talking to a few people, knowing a few people that
do it,
yeah, and listening to them. But then actually you've got to. I always rationalise it back, and they're sorts of people that would have done extreme amounts of bad substances previously, and I was never like that. Yeah. I was there all through when I was DJing and all through that stuff. I was never. Like, I was always in the car. I was always driving between gigs and between places. So I was always, it was never really a heavy drinker and was never really into any other substance at all because I just missed that whole experience.
You were working,
partying. I was working through the parties basically. Yeah,
that's probably also why in that element, I guess you go one of two ways, don't you? You're either like a party guy, or you're not, because you've been used to for years being in good time environments, being stone cold sober. So being like in them environments now, even if you're not working, you're still kind of used to it.
Yeah, my heart rate was at like 300 beats a minute because I drank 6 cans of Red Bull. But
and then you got to drive from Leeds to Manchester in the middle of the night.
But other than that, I was okay. Yeah. Anyway, it was a completely random start to the conversation.
Start to the show, wasn't it?
Good morning, everybody. We are here. We're not on edibles, or trust me, we're not on any other substance. We
should do that one day.
All we've got is black coffee, which
what's in
does
that,
it
though?
Does it for us? That coffee, I can guarantee you a load of shit. I can honestly guarantee you that because I buy the cheapest one possible for my tenants. In bulk. So there's no quality in that coffee. Do not get confused.
Strong.
Yeah. There used to be in the ones that we had that were in the sachets, they were good stuff, but that one you've got in your cup right now, no, that's like
it's just sludge. That's just black sludge.
Yeah.
It's all right though, to be fair. It's quite strong for like filtered machine coffee. Or is it placebo? Who knows? Anyway, good morning.
The milk's no good. The milk's powdered milk.
I don't touch milk. Right, you're really selling yourself. If anyone's looking for an office, you're looking for cheap, nasty coffee and a bit of a shit landlord, make sure you go to workhive.com.
Listen, free is worth every penny. Okay? Remember that.
Very true. Very true. Can you tell us a bit about where you were last night? You've alluded to the Indian restaurant. Can you tell us where you were?
No, so I just went to an interesting dinner with a few people in the banking sector, banking space. So they was various people that are in and around banking compliance and sort of other banking roles, and they was interested in a lot of interest in cryptocurrency and how it's mainly the topic of conversation was around regulation and how digital assets can be regulated and stuff. But yeah, it was just I guess what we would class in this circle as a traditional old school mastermind. A few people getting together for dinner once a month and having a chat about sort of issues that are affecting their space. And yeah, a lot of them were compliance people, or operations and compliance, are in banks, big banks. So yeah, it was an interesting conversation to hear how the the other side, I guess you want to call it, the
other half,
the enemy of decentralization, isn't it? Like the big banks, how they're looking at trying to get involved and where they fit into cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the outcome was nobody still has any bloody idea. So that was the outcome of the conversation.
Short, nobody's got
some interesting conversations around how Bitcoin gets moved around the world without bypassing exchanges and stuff like that, and with a big broker. So yeah, some interesting points of conversation. But how you regulate, it was eye-opening for me, because when you talk to people about regulation within digital assets, that's why the banks are not involved, because the banks are licensed and regulated. So they have to be able to treat assets in a certain way, or look at them, or view them, or present them, or represent them on balance sheets in a certain way to comply with the terms of their license, whether that's the SEC or the FCA or any of these types of organisations that issue licensing for them to trade in certain territories. They have to comply with regulation, and the regulation doesn't include digital assets, so they don't know how to treat it, so therefore they shy away from it.
And one of the things that you brought up when we were chatting before, which I hadn't even accounted for, is it's not only that it's the regulation that they have to adhere to themselves. A lot of the reason why they can't get into the space is because their insurance.
So yeah, this is what one guy said to me last night. So family offices, for instance, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, big institutional money that is sitting on the fence, like banging down the door. What's this digital asset space? NFTs, crypto, Bitcoin predominantly, because it's like the original, isn't it? You know, how we want to hold it, we want to get involved, we want to do this. How can we do it? So their clients are banging down the door, but their clients are also bound by regulation. So the insurance that might insure the whole of that sovereign wealth fund or the whole of that pension fund, all of that points back to regulated products, regulated assets. So when you've got an asset that's outside of the regulation, they can only allocate a certain percentage of their funds, which is a tiny percentage, which is classed in their eyes as complete speculation, onto those types of assets. So they're prevented from being able to get, or within regulation, being able to get involved in the market.
Well, look at what the market's doing already. And when you think about it like that, the big funds of money that move the fiscal world right now, they're not even in the game yet, are they? So when everyone's, because I know there's a lot of I need to get into NFTs now, I need to get into this now, I need to get into that now. It's like a whole fire. Even the biggest institution, especially the biggest institution, they're not even in the game yet. And when they could get in the game,
they would be, though. This is what I realised now. They would be. They just can't.
They can't for a various number of reasons. And this is why you've got governments coming out and saying crypto assets must be regulated. So there's two things at play here, isn't there? You've got governments and central banks coming out and saying we must regulate digital assets, right? That's because they're getting pressure from banking industry and banking sector to say we need to be involved here before people get too far away from us that we can't catch up. Because you've had the establishment of some big crypto exchanges that are mega in business size. And this is what someone was saying to me last night. They are huge in the volumes that they're moving around, and they're basically banks. They're carrying out banking operations. They're issuing Visa cards. Yeah. They're allowing people to open up accounts. The terminology and the way their websites are structured is more towards fintech banks than a bank is, more so. But because of the regulation that's in place, big banks can't develop their tech. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't operate because it's outside of some regulation. So you're getting this call for people to let's regulate. So we're seeing that as, they just want to shut it down. It's actually the opposite. They want to get involved in the game, but they can't because of regulation doesn't allow them. So what I took from talking to some people last night was it's not that they want regulation to shut cryptocurrency down. They want regulation so that the bigger forces can get involved and play the game with everybody else. And at the moment, they're prevented a little bit from doing it. So
family offices that are unregulated can still get involved and play, but ones that are or adhere to regulation for whatever reason, because of the whatever's in their memorandum of articles and all that type of stuff, the bit that you don't see behind the scene, that's what prevents them from getting in. So that's why there's such a call for regulation, is because the big players want to get involved.
And did you get the opinion from them that they are taking this seriously, or is it still, because they don't really understand the world, is it something that they're sort of pooh-poohing at the moment a bit?
No. They
know it's big.
Yeah, there's departments being formed, there's budgets being allocated for employees. I heard somebody say yesterday that a particular bank has just announced, or internally is recruiting people to just specifically around compliance of digital assets. Within the next 2 months, they've got a headcount or a budget to employ 20 people just to look at compliance of digital assets. And they're trying to cherry pick people to put into that team, to start teams. So, yeah, I think they're definitely taking it seriously.
Have they got budgets for mediocre keynote talks from self-confessed experts?
We'll find out, won't we? When I don't turn up.
Have you already got a URL?
When I don't turn up here on a Friday. When I don't turn up here on a Friday morning, because
turns up in a Lambo.
You'll know the answer
All right,
to
lads. Slick back hair, white jeans on. What the fuck's happened to you?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know. It's not a welder. That is funny, isn't it? Because what reminded me of being in that environment again last night was how far away I want to be from that environment.
Really?
That was the world I used to live in, and with that type of group and that type of place and those type of people. And
does it sort of trigger you in them environments? Does it take you back mentally to that place where you were?
No, I just realise on the bad decisions that I would have made back then that I won't make now. So, for instance, you come out of the restaurant at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, where are we going for a beer? Yeah. No, I'm going home.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, oh, come on, you got to come for a drink. No, see you later. Maybe see you next time.
Yeah.
I'm off. Walking back to my car, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But in previous days, you're out, and now you're out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and nothing good happens after midnight. It doesn't, does it? Let's be honest. No. We all know the answer to that. Nothing good happens after midnight.
No, very true.
In my world, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. So, yeah, it just takes you back to and reminds you of, yes, I wouldn't say trigger, but just reminds me of, I wouldn't, even if I wanted to and had the opportunity, I wouldn't want to function and operate in that type of environment anymore.
Does that sort of going there last night and seeing, because you mentioned that there was people in particular who like, oh, this is the world I used to live in. They've been out for a couple of lunches, now they're out for a dinner. Like that was your, clubs and restaurants and like one engagement with pricey food and booze to the next sort of gig was kind of your lifestyle. Does it make you, with what you're looking at doing like the crypto mine and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have to build not a massive team, you're going to have a bit of a team around that if you want to scale it and turn it into something.
Why?
Do you not think you do need to then?
Why do you need the team?
Or to raise the funds. If downstairs works, then you're going to want to reciprocate it or replicate it, aren't you? I know you. There's basically downstairs works, proof of concept works, and then there's a big hangar on Northfield Airfield, and there's 1,000 going in there.
No.
Don't lie to me. I know that's where this is going.
No, they're scalable businesses, aren't they? So take this here. This is an example of a good scalable business. This building, apart from when the powers that be put your energy prices up by 50 grand a year. Thanks for that. But aside from that, it's a scalable business. The business turns over £600,000 a year, particularly the workspace business that has 2 full-time members of staff. The rest are contractors that are licensed with a contract, like a security guards or cleaners that come from a third-party company. So it's a business model that doesn't need lots of staff, that operates, that's well-oiled and well-structured. Okay, the reason there's only 2 employees is because a lot of the stuff, the engine is built behind the scenes, and the software that we develop that runs everything, and the automation that's behind the scenes, it allows it to be like that. Otherwise, yes, you would probably need realistically, I'd probably need 2 office staff or 2 admin people processing and working, probably alongside the building manager.
Yeah.
But that stuff's all done on automation now, so we don't need any of that. The crypto mining is no different. They're machines in a basement with electricity and internet plugged onto them. They need potentially a little bit of maintenance every now and then, which will be done by a third-party provider that will be under SLA, a service level agreement, which effectively they have to respond within a certain period of time to fix it, etc., etc. So that part of it's taken care of. Yes, the fundraise element, the creation of the artwork and all of that stuff, you need to interact and have team, but it doesn't need to be that's the beauty of it. It doesn't need to be a full-time operation, a full-time business with staff, because they're machines at the end of the day, aren't they?
Fair enough. We're gonna do some wins of the week shortly.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't. The point is, yes, I'm going to have to interact with private offices and some certain funds and stuff to raise money. But I don't mind. Like, I don't mind last night. You know, like, it was enjoyable. I come away thinking that was enjoyable. But it just reminds me
as a one-off.
Yeah, it just reminds me of the carnage that you could get involved in if you got too far carried away again in that world. Like the guy sitting next to me, he'd been out for 2 lunches and he was out for dinner. You know, that just says it all.
Yeah. Yeah, not a route to go down potentially.
And that was on a Thursday?
Yeah. Imagine what he's doing today. Jesus. Okay, interesting. Would you ever get involved? Let's say, for example, like say like, and this is like far-fetched, so I just want to know your opinion. Let's say, for example, crypto.com say, hey, I've listened to your podcast, because I know they're probably big fans of the podcast. Go and check it out, by the way, guys. Understanding Crypto, iTunes top-rated podcast, still big in Ghana. Nigeria don't like us this week for some reason, which we're furious about. But let's say crypto.com are like, hey, we're going to open a UK office and we need a contractor to run this office for us, but it's going to require 100 staff, bums on seats. We're going to get you a big office in Canary Wharf, but we want you as an independent contractor to be almost like a consultant or a project manager for that.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to be 36 months to get this office. Can you hear my stomach rumbling in? So hungry.
Yeah, I thought that was somebody opening the door next door.
I thought it was a cat. Weirdest cat impression ever. But you know, it's going to be 36 months and it's going to be, we're going to pay you 1 Bitcoin per week. But you're going to have to do 100 hours a week again. Are you doing it?
Probably not. Because I think I've got enough self-discipline to always go back to, like I told you, I've got this yearly sort of mission that I set out for myself, and a yearly business plan, and I'll put in there what my sort of mission and vision is, and everything I do has got to feed back into that in some way.
Yeah.
So if it didn't feed back into that, if I could find a way to, and if it was financially, so there's two parts to judge this on. There's the financial attraction, number one, because that gets in the finances of anything will get anybody interested, regardless of what you say your purpose and your mission is. If like, there's always, and everyone's got a number that they'll sell their soul to the devil for, haven't they?
What's your number?
I don't know what that number is, but there isn't, everyone's got a number.
1 Bitcoin.
But there would also then be a rationalization of, okay, there's a number. Has it met the threshold? Yes, it has. Secondly, does it sit with where I want to serve and my purpose? And I would probably, if the number was right, I'd find every single possible way to justify it feeding back into that mission and vision. So I could say to myself, yes, it does.
Yeah.
Then the next threshold is sitting down and having a conversation with the people that are closest to you and say, have I got the time to put into this? And does everybody understand why we're doing it? Because that's why previous mistakes that have been made is I've taken opportunities based on the financial rewards of those opportunities, and they've had a negative effect on everything else that was going on, because the amount of time and attention that has to get put into that. So I'd say, has the threshold been met from a financial perspective? Probably. Does it feed into what I actually want to do in my mission and vision? And I'd find every way to make that work. And then secondly, have I got the time to put into that? And can everybody else get on board with that? And if the answer's no to one of those three, then no, I wouldn't do it.
You said something there, picking up on your language. You said, does everyone understand why we're doing it? Is that, I guess, old Paul didn't say why we're doing it. It was why I'm doing it. Was that one of the biggest shifts that you had to make?
I wouldn't have. Yeah, I guess psychologically, I wouldn't have even said I'd made that shift. But if you're picking up on that, and probably yeah, because it's us now. Like I see it as it's our journey, not mine. So because the decisions you make in your career affect the people that are closest to you.
Yeah, of course.
Like they're the ones that get the brunt force of that. Like you and
I.
And
you proactively now.
Yeah, we all have an argument in here, which is a weekly occurrence.
Bi-weekly, if we. I know that's less, isn't it?
You know, the people that are closest to us
Twice weekly.
get the verbal result of that.
Yeah.
Get us venting at home. So whatever happens in your businent environment...
Your missus must hate Shipman then, mustn't she?
Well, it might be the reason she drinks so much wine. I don't know. They get the verbal diarrhea, don't they, of what's happened. So yes, years ago, going back 10 years, it wouldn't have even been a fault. It would have been, I'm doing this. I'm on a mission.
For us.
Yeah.
Regardless of actually asking you if you want this for
correct.
us.
Yeah, correct. I'm doing this because I want this. I want this, not because I think it's best for you. So I'd be force feeding them.
But would you justify it as for them? Is that how you sort of would, I'm doing this. Does that happen? I'm doing this for you, but actually I'm doing it for you.
Yeah, every decision that without hearing what, like a big wake up call for me was hearing what, like my wife said at one point years ago, we didn't ever want that.
Yeah.
You never asked us. Like, if you'd asked us, I would have told you, but we didn't want that. You wanted that. And you're like, yeah, okay. But you justify it.
In your head, yeah.
That's what they know, that they didn't know they didn't. And even then, when I heard it the first time, I was like, yeah, but they just didn't know they didn't want it.
Yeah.
Right. It was actually best for them.
Yeah.
They just didn't know they needed it.
Yeah. You didn't know this was available. So I had to go and show you what's available.
So I was doing it. So at one point you're pushing your own boundaries, but you're trying to self-justify why you're making those decisions. And actually you just got to go back and have some sense and sensibility about what's going on around. Be aware of what's around you. And I think that's where, going back to the whole topic of alcohol, so many decisions are made in those bad environments.
Yeah.
Under the influence of alcohol, you get yourself into situations or go through with certain agreements that you probably wouldn't go through if you wasn't influenced in that way or conducting yourself in certain ways.
There's a brilliant bit. I know you've been watching it. We worked the Apple TV show. Where are you at? Have you kept up with it?
So I'm up to about episode 4, I think.
Okay.
In it, yeah.
Flash your marks, guys. If you're watching We Worked on Apple TV, it's absolutely
We Crashed.
We Crashed. Sorry, that's right. No one's watched. Go and watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. But one of the talk about sort of decisions over drinks. That was one of his tactics early on, wasn't it? With the New York, with a lot of this big sort of family office run real estate.
But that still works like that.
Goes out, gets them smashed.
When he signs the second lease for the second building, but that is.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, that guy that's been out yesterday for 2 lunches and a dinner, he's not going out because he likes food. He probably does like the food, but he's going out for lunch with a client.
Yeah,
with somebody that's going to put a big deal through him, and it's corporate entertainment 101, isn't it? If you can take out somebody, entertain them, make them feel special, they're gonna. It's the know, like, and trust that we all do via social media. What you don't realise with that world is big business to business contracts or big business to business offerings are conducted in that world, because that we call it know, like, and trust in marketing. You know, Matt Wilson calls it the trust timer. Someone wanting to make that purchase decision based on how much they know you. In that B2B world, those deals are done over lunch or over dinner or taking somebody out or taking somebody to an establishment after midnight that you probably shouldn't be in. That's how the wheels are oiled, and it still goes on like that. It's still exactly the same.
I never existed in that world. I think I would have had a good time for a very short period of time. You'd go out, you'd discuss business, you'd follow up the following day when people are feeling hungover. You'd say about how rough you feel and what a good night it was, and you say, right, let's get this done, and then you'd do the deal. That's how that, and that's still a big proportion of how that world works. Mad, absolutely mad. Anyway, it's 7 o'clock. Should we have a little fancy jingle reset? And then we're going to come back with some wins of the week when I hear from you guys. We're going to get some newbies on stage as well and find out what wins you've had this week. Because it wasn't a direct win last night, but I think actually being invited to them sorts of circles shows that you're having a bit of You're becoming an influencer,
Well, I wouldn't.
Captain Crypto.
I don't know. Wouldn't agree with you too much on that. But
You need a full time PR person by your side.
I did have another win though. I had the artwork back for the NFT.
Do the jingle, then tell everyone.
You are listening to Breakfast with Winners. Exclusive content direct from the Winners Club. If you are enjoying the conversation, click on the green Monopoly house at the top of the screen right now and join the thousands of winners already in our community. For even more actionable content and powerful lessons, download the free companion app now. Just search for the Winners Club in the App Store or Google Play. For more information about the Winners Club and how to become part of our growing community, head to thewinnersclub.club. Now, back to the show.
So we're back. Good morning, everybody. This is Breakfast with Winners, as the fancy jingle lady said. If you would like to become part of our gang, click onto the little Monopoly house at the top of the room. You can join the 41,800 other members of the community. There's a lot of stuff that we are looking at building out in the Web3 world. Oh, we had a big result, didn't we, yesterday? I don't know if we can talk about that yet. I'll have to ask you off air. About
Not yet.
Okay, fine. So
Big progress though.
Big progress has been moved towards our Web3 journey. So yes, that is going to be. We'll only be having those rooms and those conversations with members of the community. So click on the little green Monopoly house at the top of the room. I can see we've got some newbies in today, which is very cool. Good to see you guys. But yeah, click onto the little Monopoly house at the top of the room if you want to be part of our community, and then you'll get informed every time we go and do live rooms, etc. Right, go on then. We're going to do wins of the week. What was your win? Is your art?
Do you know what? No. Do you know what? It's a bit deeper than that. I'd got very carried away. I've had a conversation with you and Ashley separately. In my at home, I've got this little I guess what would you call it? Caption or motto?
Okay.
That's in my office. Business is simple. It's complicated by idiots.
Right.
I don't know where I got it from. Stole it from somebody. I didn't come up with it myself, I'm sure of it. But I can't find where it came from. I tried typing it in Google to see who gave that quote and nobody did. So I'll
claim
own it. I'll claim it.
Claim
right?
it. Copyright
So
it.
anyway, business is simple. It's complicated by idiots. And I think I've been well guilty of overcomplicating a few things in the past couple of months without realising I'm overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
And then do you know what I do when it gets complicated? I'll go back into I wouldn't even say survival mode, but I'll go back into doing doing stuff myself.
Yeah.
For instance, I'll build out web pages. Via the beep, am I building out web pages? Right? I'd go into graphic design mode and I'll be designing stuff myself, and I'd waste days designing stuff or building out a web page using Webflow because I can. Yeah, but that's not the best use of my time.
Yeah.
So this week, or the last 2 weeks really, I've taken a dose of my own medicine and actually gone back to, revenue generating tasks is the stuff you spend your time doing, and everything else everybody else does. So I've outsourced a few of the things that I was creating a bottleneck with and doing it myself. I've given some of that stuff to others in the past couple of weeks and had, I wouldn't even say good results, but had results back, which has pleased me. So that is a win for myself, because I've progressed a lot quicker in the last couple of weeks with certain things where that was a to-do item on my list that I would have just, because I would have gone and done it. Because I can and because I've got the time, I would have gone and done it. But that's probably not the best.
Do you
use
like doing those things as well?
Yeah, it's like cathartic. I love getting involved in, well, you've probably realised, getting involved in design stuff and doing that is like my... Like if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I'd probably be a web designer or graphic designer. Or something like that. But yeah, I do like that. I do like doing those tasks. It gives me enjoyment. It's not the best use, but it's not the best use of my time at the moment. There's other things I should be doing that were on hold because I'm stuck building a 4 or 5 page Webflow website that looks nice, but actually somebody else could do probably a better job than me. Yeah, and for a lot less than it would cost me to spend 4 days doing it. Yeah. So I gave stuff out to a few people. Yeah. Found a few various different creatives on Upwork and Fiverr and various places, wrote a little design brief and got people to go and design stuff and got some results back, which is good.
Awesome.
Which people will see.
People will see. I guess you can't really tell people what they're going to see yet, can you?
Right,
you've done more learning on even that. So we talk about NFT art here, aren't we? And even that... The more you learn about the Web3 world, the less that you know that you know. because every time there's just like, even like how the art thing works, and the layers of it, and I'm like, huh? Really? Is that how it works? It's mad. It's mad. So
well, how do you get rarity into NFT artwork based on, and it comes down to traits and layers of artwork layered on top of each other and automatically layered on top of each other via algorithms to create sort of images that are rare in certain ways with certain things, and then so you got to find a graphic artist that can layer those up and design the traits and stuff. So yeah, I've started going down that rabbit hole. Had an animal, picked an animal. That was interesting. Had to pick everyone's got an animal, isn't it? So you got to pick an animal. Why would you not? So picked an animal. That's actually, I think there's a genuine reason behind picking that animal.
It's not brilliant. That is.
So I can actually say, do you know what I'll say? Because it's quite funny. The story's quite funny.
Go on.
So I picked a fox, right, for the animal of the NFT, which this is for the crypto mine. So picked a fox. Do you want to know the reason why?
I know the reason why.
Well, I know you don't. You don't actually know the real. You know that because they're always in the car park.
Okay.
So we have a family of foxes that occupy our car park at dark. They're almost like guard dogs.
Yeah.
So we didn't invite them. We didn't ask for them. And I think they live in the overgrown gardens that back onto the car park.
They do, yeah.
So if we look out that window now, you'd be able to see the overgrown gardens, and you'll probably see them running around under the bushes, all these foxes. But if you come into the car park at night, which we often do, not now actually, we'll probably miss them now, but we'll see them at winter again.
Yeah.
When you come into this car park at night in dark, they're just running around the car park, climbing up on the walls. It's like their playground.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, we came in the building one morning, somebody left the back door open, okay? And the rooms where the crypto mine are going to go had been taken over by the foxes.
Oh, really?
So they was in the rooms, and there was shit all over the rooms. Sorry if kids are listening. But there was feces all over the room, and they were
it stinks.
They were in the room. They'd weed all up the stairs, and it took us. This was about 2018, and well, Joe and Steve had to clear it up, but it took us months to get rid of the smell. So we just because somebody had left the back door open and they'd come in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Joe walked in, and he's not good with. He doesn't like rats or any of that type of stuff. Well,
Right.
he walked in first thing in the morning, and a fox bloody ran at him. He's in the stairwell.
They're ballsy, them things,
Yeah.
aren't they?
So they've got in the building a couple of times. So that one was found on the second floor in the offices at one point.
No.
So if the back door's been left open, and a couple of times people like smokers have propped the back door open and
Right.
forgot about it, and then the fox will sneak in. So there's a reason behind the fox.
So you've gone for a fox. Also, a fox is cunning.
Well, you come up with that, the cunning part, but yeah, I just went because we often are occupied by foxes.
They're actually quite friendly. They're not like the mangy East London foxes. They're very well looked after, them foxes. There's one in particular.
I would imagine so, because every other shop on this road is a food establishment that puts their food outside. So they're always getting good food.
They're well fed.
Well, I wouldn't say good food, but they're well fed. They're well fed.
They're fed. We just say we're fed.
So yeah, so had the artwork back, or first sketches, which was really interesting to see, and good. Good. So yeah.
How do you you said you made that sort of shift of it not being good use of your time, but you like doing it. What's like the cutoff where you're like, okay, I know I like doing it, I know I can do it, I've got the ability to do it, but this is just, do you get to a moment you're like, why am I spending my time doing this? Or is
No,
there
it was speed. It was speed. Yeah, I was looking at it thinking, I want to do this quickly. I want to push on and get on with it. And then just having a real look at yourself and saying, do you know what, if you're going to do this, how long is it going to take you to do it? Because I could do it on my own. Like I could do all of those elements on my own. I could actually get out my iPad and my iPen and sketch all of the artwork.
You're actually quite artistic, aren't you?
Yeah, and I would probably end up getting drawn down that route if I was to do it. But that would take me 6 months because I'd be going backwards and forwards. I don't quite like that. It's got to be perfect. And you'd go again. When actually, when you get a sketch back from someone else, you look at it and you go, do you know what? I don't quite like that. Yeah. But actually, all things considered, it's okay. You know, it's good enough. It does the job. But I wouldn't be like that if I was doing it myself. So it would take me a lot longer to do.
Yeah. We've got some NFT artists in the audience today, I see.
So yeah, getting out of your own way. Do you know what? And that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
I know you struggle with it.
Yeah.
Like getting out of your own way and actually getting somebody else to do something.
Editing audio at 10 o'clock last night, getting in my own way. Me?
and that I think is the biggest psychological barrier as a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself. If you're trying to scale and grow, the biggest challenge we all have, I think, is getting out of your own way, because you always feel like you can do it best.
Yeah.
I still sit here think I could have done that sketch better. You know, I could have done that best, but actually, it doesn't need to be best, and it didn't need me to do it.
No, it needed speed, and it needed to get done. Done is better than perfect.
Who said that?
Me.
Start now, get perfect. That's Rob, isn't it? Start now, get perfect later.
Knock me off. I thought I'd
Copied him.
Copied Rob. His language is so subliminal. He's seeped into my mind, into my deep-seated psyche.
Anyway, so yeah, getting out of your own way. I think
that's your win of the week.
Is just reminding myself to get out of my own and uncomplicate. You know, some of the stuff we've been trying to do and build, just got way too convoluted. And actually, you look at it and go, "What are we doing?" Go back to first principles. And Stephen Bartlett talks about it a lot. What are your first principles in business? Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Standard. Everything should be as simple as possible. It doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Declutter it. Get it back to being simple.
If you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, it's too complex.
Yeah.
You can't summarise it.
It can be a great idea, and it can be a complicated idea, but it needs to be unpicked to be presented as a simplistic idea to make it work.
100%. Let's get some momentum, isn't it? Now then. Got the artwork done. You've got the fox out of the basement. It's all painted and ready. How are you getting on with 200 double sockets?
Yeah, that's all right. It's just an electrician coming in to do the work, isn't it?
It just freaks me out, all that stuff. What about getting the energy in yet? You worked that out yet?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're good to go. Crypto legend in the next, what date? That you're an influencer? You have this big...
The only catch is getting equipment built. You can't get the level of equipment we would want in the period of time that we want. Yeah. So you're gonna have to come in phases and sections. But that's just but that is just project management, isn't it? Yeah. So this is an example. My skill set and the revenue generating part of me is the project management.
Yes.
That's like where I've earned my living, and that's the bit where my best use of time is on the management of it, not the doing of it. I'd been far too caught up in doing of stuff for months because I had the time to do it. Actually revert back to first principles, manage it, get other people to do it, because that's where my best use of my time should be spent. So just had to remind myself of that. So that's my
it's your win of the week.
Win of the year, I think.
Win of this period of time since Clubhouse started.
Yeah,
needed a reminder.
Win of the year. Win of the year.
I'll go next then, and then we'll chuck it out to some people who'd love to hear some wins of the week. Why not? Because it's a Friday. Let's make it a nice, light and breezy and easy room for everyone this morning. Get some motivation, some inspiration, get as many people up on stage sharing their wins as possible. I have found the audio engineer that I need next to come and work in-house.
I've heard that 3 times since I've known you.
But this time I mean it. The other 2 times I was lying to you. This time I really mean it. And I've also found the content creator role, because of what I had looked at, I was like, right, I need another audio person. I was like, actually, no, I don't. I also need a content creator. So what I would have done previously is I'd have like tried to make both of those roles one person.
Yeah.
But I was like, why am I doing that? It's money. But I'm like, okay, the money's in the business to do it. Just do it. The revenue's coming in. Just do it. It makes me uncomfortable because to your point, your skill set is in the managing of stuff. My skill set is the not managing of stuff. Staying out of the way of it. So this is complete. Sounds daft, right? Because you've got 1, 2, 3 of us full time already, 3 freelancers. So there's like 6 of us who work on it, on the business on a weekly basis. But just saying, right, actually, we're going to have 4 of us in-house in London in an office every day. Don't know why, it just scares me because I've never done it before. But this time...
It's time to pull up your big boy pants.
Exactly. Put my Brave Bird pants, like I bought some a couple of weeks ago. They turned up. Did yours turn up?
Yes, they did, yeah.
What brilliant packaging and branding that was.
The packaging was nice, yeah.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
I didn't put the pants on.
I did. They were snug. So Taylor, I've bought them for you, but let me have a trial run of them.
But you're about to go into the world of growing a proper business, which is good.
Yeah.
Not a Ponzi lifestyle business that has people all around the world working for you, because there's no growth in that. Like, I don't care what anyone says. If you want to get real traction and real results that gives you a little bit more than just a nice life, you need to have bums on seats in the office so you can crack the whip when the whip needs to be cracked. And that is like first principles of business. That is how you build something that's got sustained value. Yeah. Like, you can have all of the Loom videos and outsourcing skills in the world, but if you want to get fast results quickly, you need to be able to come into the office and say, this, do this now.
I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah, it's just the next phase, like, so you go from, and this is generally, I think, probably most people's journey, you'll go from like solopreneur to a small team of outsourcers, then do exactly what you've done, which is natural, by the way. You'll go solopreneur to small team of outsourcers, back to a small team in the office that then are skilled in a way and become mini replicas of you to some extent, which is scary. And then
what a bunch of legends walk around these hallways.
And then that team from the office will manage a bigger pool of outsourcers on your behalf.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So that's the route. So you still have outsourcers still fit into the model. The model.
They're just not the
but
core
your
team.
Your core team, you have to have a core team of people in the office for when the influencer doesn't turn up or goes on the missing list or doesn't complete the deadline. You've got to, unless you're the person that's going to mop up the mess when the mess is created, and you say, right, well, I'll jump in, which is what you have been doing. When something's been done incorrectly, you'll be like, right, okay, I'll do that now. So you're up at 10 o'clock at night editing audio, which you shouldn't be doing.
No.
I remember the days where I was up creating invoices on my living room floor because I didn't have an office at home, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and then going out at 6. Like, I hadn't been asleep, and then going out again.
Yeah.
Because I had nobody to do it. So and they had to be done. So this is where you find yourself. When something has to be done or hasn't been done right, you revert back to, well, I'll just do it. And then you're up, like I say, editing audio or creating content at 10, 11 o'clock, midnight. But you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So you need a team of people in the office to be able to mop up the mess when the mess has occurred.
You mentioned when you had the architects firm, you had like a rating system or like a color code system, so you knew who was working on what and where it was in the process, and you could go, right, where's that task? And you would have like 10-minute meetings. You'd only get involved for 10 minutes, and you'd be able to go, where are you at with that? And I was like, that's exactly the bit that I need now. So for example, we had some artwork and stuff made this week for a new client, and by the time we went from the designer to the team manager to the marketing agency who do the stuff for us, to come back to us, to go back to the client, but I didn't like it. I was like, it's not been done correctly. It needs to be redone before it goes to the client. Take it back off the client. So I've had to speak to the team manager, goes back to the marketing agency. They do their work again, comes back to the team manager. She comes back to me. I go back to her and say, yeah, it's good. Well, as you unravel it, like, no wonder nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just having sick
everyone's
conversations.
Working. Everyone's working,
exactly.
But they're working having a conversation, not doing the doing.
Yeah.
Not doing the thing.
Yeah.
So my meeting philosophy, and you've touched on it. My persona is miserable. Well, I'll happily own it.
I wouldn't say persona. I'd say your
that was how I used to treat meetings. So there were times that were scheduled for us all to get to know each other. There were times that were scheduled outside of work for the team to develop a bond and for to build connections. Right. Not the first 30 minutes of an hour meeting.
Yeah.
That's not what that time's for.
Yeah.
Like, if you schedule an hour meeting and you want me to sit there for an hour, I don't care what you was up to at the weekend. I don't care about your children. I don't care about what's gone on at that point in time. I'm there for an hour meeting to discuss whatever the agenda of the meeting is, because that's how results happen in that environment. Yeah. The time for us to discuss all of the other stuff happens when it's right. But in the 1 hour meeting environment, no, it's not that time. So we walk in. What's the agenda? What are we there to discuss? I always wanted to know what was the outcome of the meeting. What did we want as the outcome of the meeting before we all sat down? And if so, on the meeting invites I used to get them to or my PA would put down what the discussion points were and what the outcome was. So they couldn't even schedule me in a meeting unless we knew what the outcome was, and we were there to discuss the outcome. So straight away, you're already conditioning people to sit around the table and have an outcome-driven sort of, it was like, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with the solution and ask me to sign off on the solution.
Yeah.
and then the meeting is valuable. So that's just the way, and that would come across. Oh well, he's really cold in meetings. Well, who cares? Because we got results.
Yeah,
that was the time for us to be friends was outside of work in all of the extra. We had a team of people that were just there to arrange extra activities and team building and bonding outside of work. And that was gamified by the point system. So there was a mechanism for that, and that was in place. And then there was the time for us to go and have that, create that environment. But it's certainly not in meetings. Now, how many times do you start a Zoom call and you have to break that ice on Zoom calls, and you're 15 minutes in? You had that up over the year. What a waste of time.
Yeah. I was listening to Stephen Bartlett's podcast on the way in, actually, and he had Lewis Howes on, who I love. He was like my first ever podcast that I really sort of fell in love with. He was the inspiration behind me actually getting into podcasting in the first place. And he was saying he was here he was in London for some meetings. He didn't connect with me, weirdly. Not weird. But he'd gone to a meeting and he said, I just can't do small talk. He said, I don't know what it is. I think it's a British thing. He said, and he did that all for like standard American trying to do a British accent. He's like, oh, tea and crumpets. He's like, I don't know what it is with you lot, but you just love to not offend, or you just like chit chat. He said, I sat next to someone at this important meeting and they were trying to do that like fluff conversation. How was your travel? How was your trip? How you getting on with the jet lag? He was like, how long? He's like, I'm really interested at the moment in building relationships quicker. And he said, how long have you been, you're married? And she said, yeah. He said, how long have you been married? 6 years. He went, how's your marriage going? He said, that was within 3 minutes of meeting her. And she did not know what to do with herself. Yeah. And then he followed it up with, what 3 questions do you wish that you'd asked your partner the day before you got married? And he said, you could see that I made her so uncomfortable. But
she's going to think this guy's a weirdo.
Exactly. But he's like, I just want to get to the point.
And socially, he probably is.
Yeah, it is.
But, socially, if you're in a social environment, like I was probably seen as the social, like, recluse.
Outcast.
Oh, here he goes. But if you're driven for, if the intention of why you're meeting is for something, you've got to just bring it back to the intention. I think you waste, especially, so you run the risk of having outsourcers. Well, I've witnessed it. Like you'll have all these outsourcers and you imagine all the Zoom meetings. If you wasted 15 minutes on every Zoom, how was your day? How was last night?
Yeah.
Oh, just get on with it.
Yeah. Just get on with it. Anyway, this time round, I know I've said it to you before, but this time I promise, I found the one. He's coming here today at 12.
Oh, really?
Yes, you could check out if he is the one.
Okay.
And I've also found a great content creator. And do you know what? And I know you said to me, don't go, because this was, again, I do take your advice on board, because I put the advert up and within like 15 minutes, I had like 3 or 4 really good CVs. I was like really excited. I was like, hey, I've got some amazing talent. And you went, don't bother looking at it for about a week.
Well, I can already tell you're too emotionally invested because you've decided this guy's the one.
I'm not.
Before he arrives.
I'm not emotionally invested, but he just better.
You've casted your judgment before he even arrives. And that clouds your thinking with other people.
Okay. That's why I'd like you to meet him. So
I always listen. The last employee I had just sued me at an employment tribunal. So trust me, I'm not the best decision of staff. Okay, I'm not saying. I know I can tell you how to do it. I'm not saying I'm the best to do it.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I shouldn't employ people.
Oh, anyway, I found a great content creator. And you know what was the seal the deal with that one? Not that it sealed the deal because I'm not emotionally invested. It might be a bit emotionally invested. He makes a lot of your kids might be have missed that phase. Did they ever go through the Thomas the Tank Engine phase?
My youngest son Thomas, he calls it Thomas.
Does he watch the YouTube videos?
No, he watched. Well, no. We records it on the Sky TV or something. Yeah.
So our little one, our big one now, he loved Thomas the Tank Engine. Then one day, accidentally, I think I was. Like he saw YouTube anyway, and there was like these like creator-made YouTube channels so it's like Thomas the Tank Engine characters, but not the official cartoon. It's like real world ones, if that makes sense.
Like the dodgy knockoffs of
basically,
Gucci handbags.
Basically, this guy is one of the, he's
a dodgy knockoff.
He's a dodgy knockoff. At the moment he works for Mattel freelance, but he makes these videos, and I watch. I was like, oh my god, I've actually already watched your stuff. Yeah, I'm sold on him, aren't I? I'm too far gone. I'm signing him up. Anyway.
It's, employing people's hard as well. Like I said, I employed somebody, he took me to an employment tribunal. Asshole. He might be listening. I don't actually care if he's listening, to be fair. He didn't Yeah.
Leave it there.
Didn't show up for work for 58 days. Right? Didn't show up for 58 days, yet takes me to an employment tribunal for wrongful dismissal.
And won.
Yeah, of course he does. Listen, no good comes of an employment tribunal. Anyone that goes to employment tribunal, the chances are you're losing because it's geared up. It's geared up in that way. It's like construction contracts. Construction contracts are biased to the client.
Yeah.
So when you get sued as a contractor, you're getting sued. It's unlikely you're going to win because they're geared up for the client. They're biased to the client, and that is employment law is somewhat biased to the employers, to the employee. And it definitely is, listen, it wasn't a considerable amount, a couple of grand or something, but it's still the principle, isn't it? And
it's entirely the principle, wasn't it?
Yeah. I made myself a real big arsehole for the day to the judge. It was all done on Zoom as well, which is really annoying. Like the judge was sitting in her bedroom. How can I take you seriously? Like you're there to rule on me. I can see your bed in the background. Come on now, seriously. You're a judge operating an employment tribunal and I can see your bed. Like get real,
So funny.
Well, and you're there to rule and be the judge of me and how we've acted and I can see your bed in the background. Yeah, anyway, don't get me started.
That's an aside anyway. Right, let's get into something else. Let's get into some wins of the week. So you've had a good win of the week. You got out your own way. I've had a good win of the week. I found the next two employees potentially, as long as they meet up to my lofty expectations of them. So there we go.
Shall I do your interview for you?
You probably should, frankly. Probably should. Right, who would like to share? Well, I can see that we've got loads of people on stage, which is awesome. Give us a flash of the mic if you've had a win this week. Let's end the week strong with some motivation, some inspiration, some aspiration for some other people. Tell us maybe a challenge that you've overcome or something that's worked out brilliantly in your life or your business. Maybe you've learned something new this week. Give us a flash of the mic. We'd love to hear your wins of the week. That's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the show. Get up on stage. By the way, if you are someone who is wanting to come up on stage, maybe you've never been on stage before, maybe you've never been on the Clubhouse stage, maybe you're new to Clubhouse in general. If you'd like to come up, if you've never been on the stage here in the Winners Club, stick your hand up. You can press it's not a hand raise button anymore, is it? Which makes no sense whatsoever. Press the little clipboard thing and then you can put your hand up. Even though the brand on the awful box that they sent to us was raise your hand. Now you can't raise your hand.
I've left. Hold on. I left. I'm back. We'd left. I pressed a button. I didn't know what it was and I've left.
Oh, you're muted still.
I'd left. We'd left.
Sorry, we'd left. We're back. We've come back. Sorry, gang. We don't know why. Paul decided to leave.
I pressed the wrong button.
Paul left his own party. So I was just saying, if you have got a win of the week, we'd love to hear from you guys this morning. Click the little clipboard button that makes no sense and give us a share. Give us a flash of the mic if you're already on stage about your win of the week. We'd love to hear your wins. Let's go to Ame. Good morning. How you doing? What's your win of the week?
Good morning. Oh my God. First of all, that story about the fox was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the win of the week is that I literally found the perfect artist to work with. I've been going through a year of finding the most amazing artist for my NFT project, one of them, and I found her. So yeah, and by the way, it does take time. I think I've gone through about like 20 artists that I wanted to work with, and it's like a relationship. So, but I'm super, super excited that I did, and the roadmap just got closed up. So I'm super excited, and we're gonna drop this summer. So I'm super stoked.
How long have you been working on it for?
Since last year.
Oh, really?
Plus, I'm doing the smart contract dev, so it's only a team of two women Latinas. So that's one of the things I was looking for is the Hispanic artist, and I found her. So it took me a while. But the reason why it took a while, and similar to those foxes that were running around, leaving presents all over the place, you really do have, it is a relationship. It is a relationship. And as a developer, I have to be able to engage with the artist, and we have to be able to be aligned. So sometimes it's easier said than done, and it seems easy on the surface, but you are going to spend a considerable amount of time doing engagement of bringing it to life. And you're also going to have to identify rarity tables. And it is not as simple as it is on the surface. And that's why there's about 10 or 12 things that you have to look at when you're dropping an NFT project so that you don't, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And for me, like I've fallen a couple of times personally, but that's the big win is that I finally got that trajectory of finding the right engagement of an artist that sees the alignment of the vision. And that's a key important thing. And that's something like that's important to any drop is understanding the alignment of the vision and also not making it about the money or making it about the success of the project, but making it about how you engage together and what you want to bring to life. And then the rest will fall into place. And that's what I've learned as well.
Awesome stuff. Good to hear from it on the other side, the people who are actually doing the development of the contracts. How interesting. Good win of the week. Love it. Right, we have got... let's go for another win of the week. Give us a flash of the mics, gang. We want to get as many people as possible sharing this morning. Let's hear your win of the week. What lesson learning have you had? What revelation has occurred in your world? What win, a challenge have you overcome potentially? Give us a flash of the mic. I can hear some flashes, but I can't see the flashes. Keep flashing. So I can see. Oh, let's go to Toyin. I haven't seen Toyin for a while. Let's go Toyin, then we'll go Elliot. Toyin, what's your win of the week?
Good morning. Yeah, I thought I'd share this one because this has been a labor of love, consistency, persistence, and all rolled into one. So this is a property deal that we've had ongoing since about 2017, and finally last week we got I think early part of this week we got it over the line in terms of the development finance, and this particular deal has gone through a failed joint venture partner. We've in partnership we've gone through lots of knockback from planning, from the finance point. It's been through a lot, and a lot of times I did want to give up on it, but not doing that has been great, and it's been a major win for me. Personally, for me, I didn't want to give up because I thought this was going to be like a symbol of not. It represented a lot of things if I gave up on it, and I just wanted to sort of stick true. But I had lots of times where I thought, oh, I just sort of give up. Or being able to get to this point is really, really something exciting. And I mean, the great thing about it was the GDV is a lot higher than what it would have been initially. Obviously, just through where the markets are moving. So yes, there has been some loss in style of the property being the land being owned for such a long time and not doing anything, but the property it's been regained by the increase in GDV. So it's been a good one, and I think I've learned a lot of lessons in being persistent and being consistent and just hanging in there, and it will pay off for the end. So yeah, that's been my major win.
What is it you're building?
It's a block of apartments. So we're building 12 apartments.
Good for you.
Good, yeah. Thank you.
5 years in the making.
Yeah.
There you go. If you ever thought property was get rich quick, it definitely ain't. It's get super wealthy, but over a long period of time. 5 years to get a deal across the line.
That was the average. Most projects, yeah. Most of the stuff, like that's why I stopped doing consultancy on projects, because it was just a time drain. Like my last one was September 2019, but that was a 6-year project, 6-year build.
What? So you're involved from start to finish?
Yeah, I was from planning, pre-planning,
wow,
planning, to build out on site. The build on site was 3 years. Planning, getting to build.
3 years. What was that then? Was that one house?
Yes, 38,000 square foot house, set in about 700 acres of land. 9,000 square foot of that was underground wet leisure facilities, so swimming pools, steam rooms.
Oh, have you shown me photos of that?
Probably, yeah. It's like my life's work.
Yeah, that's a mega place.
Yeah. It's like yeah. In terms of projects, it was like a lot of people would kill to have that as in their portfolio as a project. You know,
yeah.
It featured in every single sort of homes magazine out there.
How do those homes magazines like find people? Because if you're the sort of person who's got 700
you tell
acres,
them, you do press releases, and
do you?
Them, yeah.
What, you as the architect?
No, we didn't. In this case, the interior designer did. So there was an interior designer that had worked on the project, and she wanted to get the notable. She wanted some notable press coverage from it. So she went and employed a photographer who worked for the big magazines. To be fair, done some of the photos I've probably shown you are the photos that come from that photographer.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
So they're like really, really high quality property. You know, I think the guy was paid $5,000 for the day to take photos, like that sort of level of property photography. So he went and done some really good shots, and then they were sent out to, like he sent them out to magazines and got them featured. So that's how it got particularly featured. But you have to get consent from the owner. And
yeah, does the owner want to do it in most instances?
In this case, yeah, but they don't ever want the home identified as them.
Yeah, of course.
All sorts of stuff. So because there's a Royal Institute of British Architects. There's an award called the Sterling Award or Sterling Prize, which is like the #1 project for that year.
Right.
Like the best house to be built. And
Okay.
There's all sorts of criteria to meet.
Yeah.
That would have won that award. Like it would have smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Which for some people, that's like to be an award winner at that level. That's you're probably only going to do one of those projects. You know, it's like
In your lifetime, you only need to do one.
Because
it opens
that
all
would
the
have been
doors.
that. But with the press coverage that would have come from it, the owner didn't want that because
Right.
it would have had to. They would have had to have been interviewed. They would have been featured. There's a TV prize. Kevin McLeod, the guy that does
Grand Designs guy.
So there's always it's on Channel 4. There's a yearly program that's about that award, and so the owners would have been featured, and money would have been discussed, and all that type of stuff. And they just didn't want that level of coverage. You know, an obscene amount of money was spent on the house, 14 million quid just on the build.
Was it really?
Just to build it, yeah. Wow. So that project would have won it. But anyway, we've digressed. But yeah, to your point, they do it takes a long time.
It takes a long time.
Long time.
Right, good win
Everyone
of the
says
week.
planning lasts 8 weeks. It's never 8 weeks.
I've never.
12 weeks.
I've got a lot of pals who are in the property game, and I've never heard them turn it around that quickly, to be fair. Right, gang, I've just turned the hand raise off just so that everyone knows that if you are coming up on stage, it is because you want to come and share your win of the week. So if you would like to come up on stage, maybe you've never spoken on Clubhouse, maybe you've never spoken in this room before, the hand raise is now open. Click the little clipboard icon in the bottom right, and you can come up on stage and share your win of the week. Right, let's go to Elliot Brown from London Town. What's your win of the week, my man?
Morning, guys. It's been a winning week. Actually, I'm feeling pumped today. That's the right terminology. Just one quick question, Paul, before I quickly do that. So that was a 14 million build. What was the property worth?
So they bought the house and land. It was a farm. So they bought the farm for, I think, 5.5 million. And then they spent. So it's 14 million on build. I believe it was about 6 million on professional consultants, not all mine.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But that was structural engineers, architects, M&E engineers, mechanical and electrical, that is engineers and all that type of stuff. And like specific designers and stuff. Like there was a lot of ecology work. There had to be specialists that removed bats from trees and all sorts of stuff that went on. So that was quite costly. What is the house valued at? I think when it was finished, it was, for part of the financing, because it overrun and they had to extend financing, Savills come out and done a big valuation on it. And I think it was valued at over 40 million after, like, this was quite close to the end of the build. Yeah.
Interesting. This is interesting because obviously people that are listening in the audience, you know, it's always interesting to know the cost of these things, and then, you know, what you realise from the build as well. So yeah. Okay.
But that was their forever home. Like the value of it was irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, of course.
They'd live it. It'd be their family home, like legacy home for their family forever, I think. So it was the equivalent of what we all see. It was a modern day stately home, you know, like the stately homes we see that have lasted for years and years and years. This was the modern equivalent, you know, with nice swimming pools and floors that raised up and down to turn rooms into dance floors instead of a swimming pool room, and all sorts of like gadgets.
Was that kind of the brief to make it like a modern day stately home, like an iconic?
The family came from the two families came from extremely wealthy backgrounds that had grown up in those types of houses.
Right. Gotcha.
So they were used to it, basically.
Yeah. They listen. It's a different world, you know. They live in a world where 8 full-time staff. You know, you got a normal kitchen that's for show, and you've directly below it is a commercial kitchen with a dumb waiter between the two, so you can have people downstairs creating food. The dumb waiter actually comes up to the cupboard, which is next to the real oven. So if you wanted to, it could appear like you're getting food out the oven.
Would you call that, I think, a dumb waiter?
Dumb waiter, yeah.
I thought you were talking about an actual person. I was like, he does not go like
A
that.
little lift, but literally the lift was next to so there's a really nice Arga oven, and then next to it was cupboards, and if you opened the cupboard up, that was the lift, and
so you could have
and
mates
directly
over,
below
like-
was a commercial kitchen.
Like an egg timer could go off, go ding. Oh, my
what I
fruit
just
pie is
told.
made.
Yeah, and you could pull out a tray of food, and it was like it was come out the oven. There were chutes, so there was just a few little cool features that were there. There were chutes in most of the bedrooms that, like, as in chutes to drop your washing into, and that went down to the central laundry.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And obviously they didn't go down and do their washing. Someone was down there doing the washing. Different world.
Different world indeed.
Love that. Love that. Well, that's what we're heading for, right? Okay. Hey, seriously, we are.
After seeing it, though, I don't know if you would want it.
Oh, yeah, I would. Okay, so winning week. Not quite building a property like that, but two things. One, socials are my Instagram is actually working. So this whole do stories and posts and reels. Yeah, absolutely. Keep doing it. I'm definitely going up to like 4,000 odd views. Becca Bryant did a testimonial, which is amusing. So go and have a look at, go and check that out. But that's winning. So that's really good because of course it's getting out, just showing people what you do. But it's like a magazine Instagram. So that's a sort of a mini win. The other win is I was in Diamond's room, I think the night before last. And ended up speaking. It was a Clarity is Power room, so that sort of flagged up, and I thought, right, I've got to pop in there. And about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I haven't done a clubhouse at that sort of time for a while, but I was up designing and doing some bits and pieces in my creative hours. And when I spoke, I just happened to tell a bit of a story and that, how it got to Clarity, etc., etc. It went down really well. It was like a mic drop moment. The feedback I had from the room was incredible. Off the back of that, I had a conversation yesterday, and we're going to be organising a meeting, but it's looking like we may be organising a speaker event of our own. That's come about. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, to speak. And of course, I want to be getting on other people's stages and talking and again, putting myself out there a lot more about what I'm doing now, which I think is probably the most relevant thing I've ever talked about. And off the back of that is, I almost guarantee we'll be organising an event this year to, a speaking event where we'll be talking about helping people with in all sorts of different directions. So a couple of very interesting, powerful speakers as well. That's a massive win. So it's all going in the right direction. So I'm feeling really good, really confident, and I feel like I'm in the right lane for the first time in probably 3 to 4 years. So I'm good. I'm feeling really good.
Well, that is a win upon a win upon a win upon a win. Ultimately, good for you, Elliot Brown from London Town. It's good to hear the clarity in your voice. I know there's clarity in your bio, so I'd like to keep it on brand for you there. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Right, we've had some people in the back channel saying they have got some wins that they would like to share. Give us a flash if you would like to share. We'll get a little list going if you'd like to share your win of the week. It could be big, it could be small, it could be massive to you, it could be tiny to everybody else. It don't matter. It's got to be personal to you. Right, so we're going to go for Dr. Elizabeth, then we'll go for Rihanna, and then we'll go for Sharon. So Dr. Elizabeth, coming to you first, my friend.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, winners. I'm really, really excited this week. Elliot, I loved your share, and I agree. I think the clarity in your voice was amazing and infectious as well. I agree with you. I think for me, it's been a winning week as well. And I think sometimes we've got to acknowledge behind the winning weeks or winning days, sometimes is a lot of groundwork, months of work, and probably ups and downs of turbulence during that period of time. So I just want to say, as much as I'm going to share a couple of wins, there have been some challenges in the background, and some of the wins have been kind of months in making. I was in Beja's room yesterday, and we were talking about momentum, and I said to him, that's been my word for the year. And it's been about, no matter what comes my way, to make sure that I keep going and to make sure that I keep momentum going in some of the things that I've been doing. So in terms of property development, I think on Clubhouse, I've almost tracked this particular development on Clubhouse. It was a 2-bed house that we've converted into a 6-bed HMO, quite a large HMO because we're considering 4 flats in this particular property, but for lots of planning reasons, we didn't go with that one. So it's a very large 6-bed HMO. So we basically tripled the property from the 2-bedroom that it was. And just this morning at 5:30 a.m., finally got a text from the contractors. We're leaving site today, which is music to my ears. Interior design has been done already. We've managed to do as much as possible, even around some of the final snagging work, which is kind of like the final checklist of work to be done. And just this morning, 5:30 a.m., we got the text, yes, we will be leaving the site today. And I was like ecstatic just to get that text. So I'm really pleased. And you mentioned about learning. And I think for me, the learning for so many things, it's been about relationships, really managing relationships, even the planning point, you guys said, you don't know any planning that's come through in 8 weeks. So yes, in this project, we had 4 planning applications, if you can believe that, James. And 2 of them came within 8 weeks. And it was about relationships, speaking to planning teams, engaging with them, and all 4 were successful. So definitely, I think relationships is one of the things that we've picked up on this project. We knew it worked on other smaller things, but for us to go into developments, not just refurbing properties, this is probably the biggest thing that we've learned in this project. And in my second win, I've just pinged a couple of my clients in the room, so hopefully they do come in and they do speak. It's just really just to celebrate the wins of my clients. This week, some of my clients finished, and I've got them in property. So, they're in property themselves, they start in businesses. And again, I'm saying it because I know the journey that we go through as entrepreneurs. We're also clinicians, of course. So we're clinicians that are entrepreneurs. And if a roadblock comes our way, it's so easy for us to stop and to say, well, you know what, I've got my day job anyway. I might just focus on that. But what we find is when you can coach someone through getting over the roadblocks, maneuvering around the roadblocks, don't give up, don't stop, keep going, work through those things. Develop that emotional intelligence, that resilience that you need to be able to manage those relationships and navigate those kind of potholes that you come across. It's amazing. So I just really just want to celebrate them this morning because it was great just to hear some of the successes. That's my win. Thank you very much.
Well done for getting your builders off site as well, Elizabeth. It's the easiest thing in the world to get builders to start. It's the hardest thing to get rid of them. Honestly. Every single project I ever done, getting builders off site was the hardest thing. There's always something left. There's always something left, some snagging left to do, or something left to do, or someone got to come back. Oh,
Just when you used to go and refuse people to leave the site until they'd done it, keep people overnight.
You'd have to use some firm hands and some strong language to convince them, and the odd threat of not paying
non-payment.
Them. Yeah, non-payment.
Yes, we've had to do so. Yep.
Yeah, all the tactics are good for you. Well done.
Awesome stuff. Good win of the week. Right, Rihanna, what's your win of the week, my lovely?
Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much. I love this. I love sharing wins of the week because it makes you actually stop and think, because so often, we're thinking about what's next. This is like a moment to pause and think, what's going right? What's going well? And literally when you ask the question, what's your win of the week? I was like, what's my win of the week? And I've got so many and I hadn't even stopped to pause and think. So thank you so much for this space. But I have just realised that we talk about so much about the people that we surround ourselves with. I have surrounded myself by absolutely incredible people, and because of that I'm taking bigger, bolder action than ever before. So I'm working alongside an incredible female business and mindset coach. I'm working with an incredible brand and design creator. I'm working with an incredible marketing agency. I'm doing more things. I'm getting myself out of my comfort zone. So last weekend I went to my first ever football match, which happened to be at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I had premium seats. I was probably sitting at the opposite side of the stadium to Paul.
Bad luck, that was. Bad luck.
Yeah. Don't think it was the most tantalising game I probably could have seen, but I went, and I'm really proud of myself for going. And I am going to. I've been in a Zoom room with Wim Hof's daughter, Laura Hoff, and I'm going to an in-person workshop with her as well, in a couple of weeks' time. Like, life is just amazing at the moment, and it's the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and the places that I'm choosing to go, and the experiences I'm choosing to experience. So I'm so grateful right now. I'm feeling like I'm winning at life.
Awesome stuff. Because I know you used to have a real you suffered terribly with sort of anxiety, didn't you? And sort of, I remember chatting to you at EMC. So actually going out is a big thing. So when people might have heard then, like, oh, you went to a football match, what's the big deal? But like, that's a big deal, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And you know what? Like, it's such a big deal. Like, I have to scaffold when I do things like that, big things like that. I have to scaffold my experience. So some people might. I live a 10-minute walk from a train station that would get me into London. I booked a train from my front door to in front of the stadium, and because I bought premium tickets, it meant that I got there and had access to the lounge before the roads outside of the stadium close, and as well after the game the roads are closed outside of the stadium after the game. So I make sure that I scaffold my experience so that I can do it successfully. Same with EMC, I made sure that I had somebody from my village who's not even on Clubhouse. She came with me. We shared a room. I took my own food. I took my own frozen meals with me from Mindful Chef because I knew I needed to eat well while I was there, so I didn't get like the highs and lows of sugar. I needed to really stabilize my energy. So when I do things like that, yes, I hugely scaffold them, but I'm doing them. And you know what? It's amazing to get a taxi all the way to London and all the way back. I had a great time. So yeah, I'm loving life.
Awesome stuff. Glad to hear it. Some great wins of the week. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. There's some conversations that are happening within the room chat. What I'm going to say is if you're not enjoying the conversation, it's a free world. Please feel free to exit from this room and don't bother coming back. And also, if you could just keep the chat on point of the conversation that we're actually having here, that would be fantastic, because someone's about to get booted out of the room. Because quite frankly, their contribution is not very useful. We are a community of aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs. We are all trying to do and have more in our personal business lives, etc. We put this community collectively together, puts a lot of time and effort and energy into making sure this is a productive and proactive space. And those who come with negative vibes can, quite frankly, jog right on. So, yeah, I think you know who you are. Jyan. There you go. I'll call you out on it. So thanks for coming this morning. Please feel free not to come back. There we go. Right, wins of the week. Who are we going to have next? We were going to have Sharon, weren't we? Go on, lovely Sharon.
Hello. You tell him, James. You tell him.
I just got no time for it, man. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do this. So you come and mug off my chat. I will mug you right off. Straight up. Lucky I haven't had a drink.
Oh, and also, Paul, I'm just going to say I agree with you to a degree about the small talk thing in meetings. However, I think that when you're meeting a new client for the first time, having a little bit of ice-breaking chat is, for me, essential.
I agree. I agree with you on that. It's just it's more internal teams, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I agree on internal teams for sure. But moving on swiftly, so my wins, well, because again, this is why I love this room, because as Rihanna said, it makes you think, what are my wins? What have I actually achieved this week? And when we're moving forward all the time, like Rihanna said, it's easy to forget. And actually, I agree that it's also really important to celebrate the small wins, even if it's winning the day by just, getting on top of that bit of admin or whatever. But for me, there's been a number of wins, actually. I've had some fantastic conversations with some fantastic people in this room, people like Nichelle, Sonia, and what have you, talking about future projects and that I'm looking to work on that are going to help grow my brand, that I won't go into detail on now because it's too early. But one thing that I'm really excited about is that Beju has had his sniper eyes on me, and
I bet he has. I bet he has.
So sounded wrong, didn't it? But we're just going to go there. But so this week I finished Beju's coaching academy, which was fantastic and has really helped me with my business. But one of the things that I've been working on, as I've mentioned in the room before, are my Lightroom presets. And for anyone who doesn't know what they are, they're the filters that help enhance your photos. Not the filters that make you look weird, not those, but just in terms of color balance and that kind of thing. But I've been coasting along with those, and I was in a room the other night, and Beju called me out, and he said, "Okay, so when are they going to be ready?" So I have set the date as the 9th of May, that these are going to be ready, and I've joined up for his 7-day sprint to help get them over the line. I have them all finalized this week, so I have 5 preset packs ready to go. I just have to do all the infrastructure around them to make them saleable. And I am also signing up with the lovely Cy Hearn as well, who's going to be helping me with all my systemization and automation as well. So that's my kind of major win. The other major win is that my kids went back to school. so that
Love the honesty.
And I'm off to a Global Women Networking event in Notting Hill today, so meeting up with some fabulous people there. So that's my week. Thank you, guys.
Win. There you go. Being coached by your partner. Good luck with that. Both people involved in that equation. Snipes has been in the game a little while. He'll know how to tread through these dangerous and choppy waters. I'm sure he's got it covered.
Yeah, it's he has to get me in the right mood, but when he does, it's wrong as well.
I mean, she's literally Sharon is just one walking innuendo, isn't she, with the camera? Frankly, I'm just sitting there going, "Do I jump in on this? I'm probably not going to jump in on this, but I want to." Anyway, there you go. Yeah, working with your life partner, challenging indeed. I've done it, and then I didn't do it, and then I'm sort of doing it a bit now. Anyway, there you go. Right,
I've done it. My first ever office was at the end of Big Joe was at the end of Big Joe's garden in his garage. I converted his garage into an office, and my wife was on maternity leave, so she come to work for me.
Oh, did she?
She's never worked for me since.
That was short-lived.
It was.
That was short-lived.
The duration of the maternity leave, and that was it.
She had a big fancy banking job, didn't she?
We realised it was for the best.
She was used to working in probably like quite structured corporate environments, wasn't she? So like having you wanting to have no ice-breaking small talk in the end of the garden in the garage probably didn't align with her mission and vision of life.
Can you imagine though working with? Could you imagine? Working, if you all think, and this is probably everyone, if you think back to when you first started in business, you were so young and green and new to it, like every conversation was like, oh my God, this is going to change the world. Yeah. Or like, oh my God, they got this big project, we're going to get it. You know, it's like, it must have just been constant like that. Like constant shiny pennies. Oh yeah, like, we're going to do this today, or we're going to do that, with no structure whatsoever. It'd probably been funny to have like recorded that.
Times.
Yeah.
But
probably like your example of being high on edibles. It was probably like that, on a constant high on adrenaline of not having enough money in the bank account, trying to struggle, and then constantly speaking to people about new opportunities, thinking, oh my God, this is brilliant.
I'm a business owner. How come you're a business owner? Because back in those days, it would have been because you went to Vistaprint and got some cards.
Yeah, because I say I am. Have you not seen the bottom of my email? It says I'm the CEO of my father-in-law's garage.
Yeah. What does CEO mean? I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't get technical. It means whatever I want it to mean. Right, gang, give us a flash of the mics. We get some great shares this morning. Wins of the week is what we're doing this Friday morning. Good vibes here in the Winners Club. So let's go for Lauren, Jagdeep, and then Iffy. Lauren, over to you. And if yours is not a singing reel, then frankly, you might want to rethink your win.
My win is a singing reel.
Yes, it is.
Don't you start.
That's it. No. Thanks for that. Pointing that out again. Seems to be something consistent for me every day this week that I get mentioned for my singing. So that's quite cool. It's been about 2 decades since that's been mentioned. So that's quite nice. I'm having so much fun with those, which is actually is a win. The biggest win I've got this week is that I have found out that my heart inflammation is not isolated, and it's a general inflammation issue that I have at the moment. So I don't have an actual heart condition pending. So that's quite exciting. So that's definitely my biggest win of the week, is finding out that. But another win of the week on the business side of things for me is that I have launched my biggest campaign of the year, and I have currently got 50 women working with me to perfect their launching, to perfect their offers, to work with their perfect clients. So I've got the perfect challenge that is running. So I've got 50 women, well, not actually all women, there's a few guys in there as well, but mostly women. I think there are 3 guys, but well, yeah. So I've got 50 people currently working with me, and it doesn't even start till Monday. And so yeah, that's bloody brilliant. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah. So a health one, a life one isn't really a win because I had to not go on holiday due to a couple of reasons. I was supposed to go yesterday. One of them was I wasn't supposed to go away until I got my results from the hospital. But hey ho, I can go again soon. So yeah. They're my wins. Thanks ever so much.
Good for you. Just out of interest, you said about women and men. Did you set out to just have women only, or that much? Was it just women was attracted to you in whatever the marketing campaign was?
Yeah, just women were
just
attracted.
Worked out that way.
I don't set out to just work with women. My one-to-one clients are mostly male, but my group programs are women. It's very, same marketing, same talk, same language.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, good for you. James has gone off to make me a coffee, so I think he said Jagdeep next, didn't he? Was it you, Jagdeep? Morning, my friend.
Good morning, winners. What a great room this morning. I love wins of the week. And I want to ask a question. Does anyone else get excited when you buy a new piece of kit or machine or anything? And then you're really excited, right? Now, that's what happened to me this week. So for the last 5 years, we've been wanting to buy this piece of machine. It's a cutter, and without getting into too much detail, it's an exciting cutter that we need in our business. And we just held back for 5 years. And when you want to get something and you just know that you need it for the business, but the time isn't just right. In the last 2 weeks, I don't know what happened, but the feeling was right. Everything was right. I called in the supplier and I got the measurements, everything done. And I signed up yesterday. And I'm having a new piece of kit coming in. And the choice was either I go and spend that money on a brand new G-Wagon, which I love, don't judge me, or I bring in a new piece of kit in the office. I chose to bring a new piece of the kit in the office. And that's for me, it may not seem big, but I can't, those who know me will know the excitement that I've got behind this. So I'm super excited. In 3 months, I'll be able to share pictures with some of you of what I bought.
See, what you got to do, Jagdeep, you've got to generate enough new business from the cutter to pay for the G-Wagon. That can be the next goal.
Paul, that's already in place.
I'm obsessed with new kit as much as probably you are, Jagdeep. I love a bit of kit. James,
can I share one more
go
win
on.
as well? It's in the early stages, but thanks to the Winners Club, I'm in the verge of signing a franchise as well. Still top secret, but it's all because of this group.
Top secret to 139 people.
It's gonna come. When it happens, you'll all hear about it.
Good for you. And what do you say thanks to this room? Because we've given you the confidence, or...
Because Ashley sold him a franchise.
Seriously, you know what it is, right? Like I said it last time, I've said it several times. You come in the room and I listen, and there's always those wow moments, and you think, shit, that's amazing. And I think going and actually putting these in action and actually putting them, doing it, just listening and just sitting there, doesn't happen. You've got to do it. And I'm fortunate that I've been driven. I never used to be like that, but I'm driven now. And I'm in the right set of, right group of people, part of the mastermind. I've got a great peer group. And I think I'm in the right space. And I think that's why I've become the way I have now. Thank you.
Good stuff, my friend. Good for you.
That's awesome. Great to hear. There's nothing better than hearing people getting great results. Nice people doing nice work for a nice life.
Talk a kit, Jagdeep. I'll send you a message privately. I'll take a picture of what's on my little coffee table in my office.
What, in there?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like a Maplin. If you ever wondered what happened to those Maplin stores where they put all their stock.
Do you know why it's all there? We've moved office. So we moved to a bit of a bigger office. I knocked a wall down.
I'm going to count how many cameras there are.
I knocked a wall down to firstly give James a bit more space for his ideal employee that he says he's soft, that he's apparently coming in today at 12 o'clock for an interview. He's already got the job. They just don't know they've got the job. But anyway.
I'd be offended if that wasn't so accurate.
Yeah, so I'd love to be a fly on the wall in this interview. But anyway, that's a conversation
How much money do
for
you
when
want?
the
Okay,
mics
cool.
go off. So we had to knock a wall down and move some offices around. So where our studio is, we've got a window at the end of the studio which went into a little green room that had like sofas there. So we've made that bigger and put desks in there. So we've now almost got like a I guess like a gallery you would have if you
Yeah.
you can see the staff working in the office if they're not there. So when this ideal employee starts tomorrow, we'd be able to look out, or Monday.
Tomorrow he's starting at 12:30.
Yeah,
Coming in at 12.
We'll be able to look through the studio where I'm sitting now, through the glass, and see the office. Anyway, too much information, but that meant I had to clear out of the old office, and I didn't realise how much camera equipment I've got.
There's 3 cameras
and
6 lenses.
and we don't even use them. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I love buying a bit of kit, but I'm going to actually clear it out and sell some of it, I think.
There's a good secondary market for this gear as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Well, I'm going to exchange it in for another camera.
Of course you are.
Can never have enough cameras.
You never have enough cameras.
Yeah.
Talking
don't
of
get
cameras,
used.
a lady who loves a camera, who uses them to build brands. Go on, Iffy. What's your win of the week, my lovely?
Oh, happy Friday. Thank you. Oh, I've been smiling away. Gosh, the shares have been lovely. Like, I came in on Rihanna's and, I could hear it. And Jagdeep, I'm with you with the equipment. I love a bit of kit. But what I suppose my win of the week is, I've got a couple, so I'll be very quick. So first, when you were talking about working with your partner, well, I do work with my partner. We're literally, our offices are next door. So my win kind of folds into not a win. So yesterday, I could have threw him out the window, actually, because when I was doing a live, like a proper live, I said to him, I'm doing a live, I was being interviewed, and he comes in, and I hope he can hear this. He comes in and he literally interrupts the live and says, someone needs to pick up Cuba. I said, that's you're supposed to be doing that, and I'm on a live right now, darling. So you're smiling at the camera while inside you're screaming to say, get out of the room. So anyway, my win of the week is that I eventually ended the live, got in the car I only had 10 minutes to get my son. And my win was the traffic. If anyone watches my stories, I complain about the traffic where I live. The roads have been done. And I literally, a tear nearly fell down my face because I got there in 7 minutes. So my win of the week was like, they've finally done the roadworks, which means for me, that gives me so much time. I would say 45 minutes on the way there and on the way back. So that's my life win, which means I can pick my children up quicker. But my actual work win is really good. So wait for it. And it's literally on the tipping toes. So I did a show called Lockdown with the Thomases that I created in lockdown with my family, with the camera filming us and stuff. And we kind of finished after week 6, and I left it on the back burner. And I was thinking to myself, what's going to have the biggest impact on what I want to do moving forward? It would be to get that show out there. So I started speaking to different producers and people, and I was looking for somebody to help me. And I ended up in a room with a woman who's done 12 series with the Oprah show. And she's now helping me and supporting me to create this pilot. And we've already got some people that we can send it to who've already worked with some really big kind of reality shows. So my win of the week is that something that I've wanted to do for ages, I'm actually starting to do. So, but it's all at the very beginning. We'll see what happens, but I've got a good feeling about it. So that's my win of the week. I can get to school in 10 minutes, and I've got a project going on, which I would really love it to be a success. So I'm done speaking. Thank you.
2 ends of the win spectrum, that, isn't it? I can do the school run quickly, and I'm also going to be a TV megastar. It's like both ends of the spectrum, isn't it? I'm gonna say something here though, Iffy, and hopefully this is not because I'm siding with the men in your life, because I know you're outnumbered 3-1 in your house. But if Terence was only allowed to communicate with you when you weren't filming, he probably couldn't talk to you all day. Based on the fact that you do 17,000 stories a day, there's a very, very small time frame where he has availability to ask you a question without it being filmed.
Yeah, he's signed up for that. Have you watched my stories? Have you seen his face sometimes?
And actually, I've witnessed him actually probably doing his own work, and you've walked in the room on a live and pointed the camera at him, and you can tell by his face, he's like, what the...
Yeah, he doesn't like it at all. But that's the selling point of the show. Terry's the main character, not me. He's the main character because he's so grumpy.
I'm just going through just to back up the point, and just in defence of both parties here. Let's be honest. There's a story yesterday. At one point, it is toilet talk. So I don't think the guy could even go for a crap in his own house without you documenting outside the door. You're dragging him around the shops. You're taking him to a food market. It's brilliant. It's so funny. I love your hair, by the way. Is that a thing that a guy can say to another girl?
We should do a Winners' Club version of Judge Rinder at some point.
We should do, yeah. Who's in the right? I've got to see if this comes up on the stories. So funny. Brilliant. All right, some great wins there. Some great wins. Right, who else would like to go next? Who's got a win of the week? Give us a flash of the mic. If you'd like to say your big or your small or your medium-sized win, maybe it's a life win, a business win, a personal win, a love win. Who knows what it may be? Julie, we'll come to you, my dear, and then we've got some people sticking their hands up. If you'd like to come up on stage to share your win of the week, you're more than welcome to do so. We're a very inclusive gang. We're an inclusive community here. We're just one big family of entrepreneurs, etc., who are all trying to be, do, and have more in life and business in general. So, Julie, over to you, and then we'll bring some other people up on stage.
Morning, James. Morning, everybody. Morning, Paul. Oh my God, it's been so fun listening to you all this morning. My win and wins of the week. I did a webinar for the first time for a particular organisation. It's a Small Business Research and Enterprise Council in London, attached to the Guildhall. So hopefully going to get myself helping more entrepreneurs out there with that finance. You know, I'm always talking about taking the fear out of finance and knowing your numbers and all this kind of junk like that. But that was a win of the week. They want to work with me more in the future. So getting myself together with more workshops for them. And my biggest win for me is like on a personal level is like, 6 months ago, didn't know you guys, came to EMC, came on stage in the Winners Club, talking for the first time, crapping my pants and really nervous. And you guys have given me so much more confidence in just actually, being able to spiel my spiel, whatever it's worth for out there. And my milestone in the making, thank you to Marvin and to Abby. I'm going to be in one of Marvin's rooms today. It's the new Finance Hive room that started it'll be the third one this week, but I am leading my own room for the very first time. So that for me, I'm going to be crapping my pants later. So if anybody wants to come and join me, talk about pimping up your profits, come and listen at 11:30. So that is my biggest win of the week. And I'm shaking right now thinking at the prospect of it all. So there you go, guys, my win.
That's a great win indeed. Good for you. There's people getting outside their comfort zone this week. A lot of comfort zone leaving. So good for you. Great stuff. And lovely to hear that this room and this community and this gang that come together every day has had a beneficial impact on making you step out of that comfort zone in order to fulfill your full potential. Yes, indeed. Right, give us a flash of the mic, gang. Who would like to share their wins of the week? Get up, speak now or forever hold your peace. If you'd like to share what brilliant thing has happened in your world this week, let's go for. I'm going to go top down. In fact, I'm going to go bottom up. So keep flashing. I'm going to go bottom up. I'm going to go bottom up. So we're going to go Amy. Oh, I've never seen Amy before. I like her profile picture. Amy, Louise, Lavina, sorry. And keep flashing, keep flashing. Who was flashing a minute ago? I saw someone up the top. We'll do that. And Gail as well. So we're going to go Amy, Louise, Lavina, Gail. I'm going to write that down. I'm definitely going to forget. Over to you.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me. I've never been here before, so this is exciting. My win of the week. So I'm a copywriter. I write words that build your business essentially, and I do content as well. My win of the week is I have my website is currently being done, and it looks amazing. It's not out yet, but I decided that I'm going to start blogging, and I've spent years saying I'm going to, but I'm actually going to, and I've created a load of blogs in bulk, and I've set up a guest post kind of system. So that's my win of the week, because I've done my guest post guidelines document, and it looks really good. I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's win of the week.
So we've got some noise. We've got someone noisy in the background there. We're going to try and work out who that is into music. How come it's taking you so long to start a blog, Amy? If you are someone who writes words that build your brand, why have you never done it for yourself?
I know, it's terrible. It's because I'm a firm believer that you master one thing and then move on to the next. And to be honest with you, I've been terrified to do it for myself because I hated my website so much. So I avoided doing it because I was embarrassed of the design of my website. I like the words, obviously, but the design was awful. So now that it looks like it, I am a big Harry Potter Disney cat fan, and basically my website now encompasses those three things. So I'm chuffed to bits with it. So that's why it took me so long. Partly I was scared. Another part was time. And then another thing was I was embarrassed. So I'm all good now.
Awesome stuff. Well, we wish you well with it. In fact, I'm gonna forward your details onto my wife because she is looking for a copywriting content person for her agency. So I'm going to forward your details. I know you're booked out till May, I see. But
I
there you go.
am. But I would love to have a chat with her. So yeah, that would be great.
I will do that. I will forward your details on. Great stuff.
All you need to do is apply to James. He gives you the job.
Yeah, what would you? I'm dishing out jobs today. Anyone want a job? Anyone? If you've got a tangible skill, I'm employing people today and giving them jobs. That's what I'm doing. That's why
It was so funny the other day, and I said to you so in Ilford, this happens. So the old school way that people used to get jobs, right? Just digressing a little bit. This is quite a funny story. People used to knock on doors. Right, so you used to walk around with CVs, didn't you, and walk in shops, and you'd give jobs, right?
Got any jobs going?
So we're sitting in the office a couple of days ago, Wednesday actually it was, wasn't it? And some random person knocks on the office door. I'm here for the job, right? So I answer the door. Sorry, I'm here for the job. Okay, what job? The job that's been advertised. I'm here for the job. So I said, okay. So it took me a while to realise what was going on. So, James's job. So they've obviously seen an application or seen a job advert, and you must have put the business address, or maybe you put the business name, and they've
just put Ilford.
Googled it. Well, they've obviously found out where the office is because they've come to the office.
Credit to them.
So
that's why they're in.
So I've gone into James. James is sitting in the room opposite me, or next to me, and I've said, James, there's someone here for the job. And he was like, what? What do you mean? I was like, this happens in Ilford. People turn up.
You said that you came in and told me. You were trying to say it between laughing so hard. You're like, and I was like, okay, how do I handle this situation?
So I just said, they're outside in the corridor waiting for you.
Brilliant, to be fair. So I walked downstairs. So I sort of kindly said, yeah, thanks. There's an application process. If you could just sort of read the job spec, it will tell you the application process. That'd be great. So okay, cool. So she walked off. And then I went downstairs. I walked past security Steve, and he went, someone just turned up for like a job. He's like, have you got a job going? I said, yeah, I've got a few. He said, I said, so Paul reckons that this might happen a bit. So if someone turns up that they saying they've got an interview, I'll let you know if anyone's coming in because they haven't. And he's like, oh, okay. He said, oh yeah, because she told me that she was here. She turned up and said, I'm here for the job. And he said, have you got an appointment? And she was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll say anything to get past the front desk.
Yeah, and she's just like walking down the corridor.
I've never seen, I don't know whether it's this postcode or this area, I've never seen anything like it. Whenever we advertise a job here, thousands of people have applied for stuff.
Yeah.
I think a previous role that I've advertised here, we had over 2,000 applicants apply for the role.
Yeah.
So I know what it must be geographically where we are.
Must be.
And there's a lack of employment or quality jobs. I don't know what the reason is, but yeah, it will
Maybe
happen.
people realise, maybe they put two and two together. They're like, hang on, Winners Club, Paul Abercrombie,
Probably
crypto legend, no banter in the office apart from in allocated times. That's where I'm going.
If they'd actually been listening to this room, they wouldn't be knocking on the door for a job here.
No, they would not on any level. Right, let's go for another share. Louise, we're coming to you for a share.
Good morning, everybody. I feel like I should apologise, actually, because I haven't been in your room very much.
We noticed.
We have noticed, yeah. It was a debate whether to let you come up on stage, frankly, but we've gone against our better judgment.
Because I changed my profile picture, I was trying to sneak my way in without being noticed. But yeah, to be honest with you, the last few months I've really massively been working on my personal development, and so I've taken a little bit of a step back and really looked at where I've been moving and what directions I've been moving in. And do you know what? My win of the week, there's been two this week, and one is on a personal level, and one is on a, sort of like my next stage of my life, I suppose. And I may have mentioned it a while back about my plans to write a book. And this week, my book has literally just been flying. And I think that's actually been the benefit of my son being on half term. It's actually given me the time to actually, submerge myself into writing this book. And I'd ummed and ahed about it because of the amount of trauma that is going into it, that it made me be very hesitant as to whether to continue with it or not. But with the help and guidance of a very special man that's in this room, Mr. Pete Curran, he's really pushed me hard in the right direction. And do you know what? I'm going to have this book done by October, which would have been my son's 18th birthday. So I've got that goal, I've got that accountability, and I'm going to make this happen. But also on a personal level, another reason why I've not been in the room very much is my husband's been a bit poorly with his heart. And but our win this week is he finally got a date for his surgery. He's having heart surgery up in London on the 14th of July. So, you know, some difficult times have been around us, but, you know, with a lot of love and support, and you know, I'm moving in the right direction. So yeah, some big wins for me this week, and thanks for letting me speak. And I'm very sorry. I will be present more often.
No, it sounds like you've had much more important things to be doing than knocking about with us bunch of idiots. So you are welcome to come and go as you please.
Louise, your husband was with you at the London event, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, lovely fella. We wish him all the very best. Lovely, lovely dude. Lovely family that you've got there. And good luck with the book and everything you're doing. And good, yet another person who's been positively influenced by the lovely Pete Cohen. Pete, who we're going to be having some conversations with behind the scenes to do some stuff about some stuff. If Pete's listening, we're going to be doing some stuff about some stuff. We'll be in contact.
We have plans.
We have plans for you, my friend. We have plans.
Thank you. I love you guys. You know that, don't you?
The feeling is more than mutual.
Yeah. Thank you. There's lots of I'd like to say, but I think the first thing I want to say is that you guys still continue to inspire me by the space that you open up for people to share what they're doing. And that to me is the power of Clubhouse. And James, you know, I reached out to you, and then you spoke to Paul. Paul reached out to me. Again, it's the power of how can we help each other? And I'm one of these people, probably like many others, don't like asking for help, but sometimes you have to, because what you're doing is bigger than you. So, thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be in the room. I haven't, believe it or not, I've spent a lot less time on Clubhouse over the last few months, you know, so, but thank you. I'm done speaking.
Awesome stuff. We'll touch base. We're having a bit of a chat internally after this show, and then we'll be in touch, my man, because we're going to do anything that we can to support. So, yes, we'll be in touch. Right, Lavina, you should have seen her.
Do not sing.
Why?
It's not.
If it's good enough for Lepley, it's good enough for me, all right?
No, it's
it used to be a professional Michael Bublé tribute.
It's damaging our brand.
It's really not.
The lack of the little brand we do have, you damage it every day, consistently. Chipping away at it every single day.
Just consistently ruining what we've built. Go on, Lavina. Sorry, Lavina. I can't sing your name because I'm now banned from singing. It's why no one wants to work with you. Go on.
Well, maybe you could have a break at a solo gig, but
he tried that. That's why he's sitting here in this studio on getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come and do Clubhouse.
I ended up in Ilford.
He tried that, yeah.
Oh boy, I love hearing you guys. Absolutely love it. So thank you so much. I'm Lavina, and one of my big wins for this week has been being recognized as part of the global AI list of individuals. So that's been, you know, a culmination of a good few years coming. So really, really psyched about that. And the second one was I actually helped one of the startups close a very good round in terms of raising. Really chuffed, and it's a Friday. Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Some good wins there. What do you do in the AI world?
Do you know what? I was about to ask that exact question.
I knew you would.
I'm actually reading the bio as we speak.
Okay, awesome. So I actually started off in the tech space quite a while ago, and naturally kind of gravitated into AI because I had a fascination of the human mind. So studied tech and psych. So the stuff that I get involved with in AI specific is around speaking, around AI ethics in terms of research, papers, in terms of policy definitions. And, I'm an advisor to the African Union, as well as to a few governments in Africa. And I also just help startups to create products. Another aspect of it is on strategy. So help companies to define what is their data strategy, what is the AI strategy, and how to actually get their data value. So thank you.
Do you know what? We're always looking for, and this is to anyone actually that's comes, because I know there's people that come in this room that don't necessarily come up and speak, that listen on a regular basis. We are always looking for people that are what we call SME, subject matter experts, and outright legends in their space to come in and educate us all within this room. And we often do sort of slots for people to come in and speak. So definitely, if you're out there and you're a legit expert in what you do, then definitely reach out to us at the Winners Club, because we'd love to give you some time to share your subject with the group of great individuals that we get together every single morning.
Yeah, absolutely. We like to bring in sort of celebrity, we like to have a mixture of the sort of well-known people. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe they got them as a guest. But we like to have other people who are, like in this community, who are fantastic tactical practitioners of their craft, who are, like I say, SMEs, subject matter experts like that. You came up with that, didn't you?
I didn't.
Did you not? Is that?
No, Marcus Murphy to come up with that.
Oh, did he?
I've just copied it.
Oh, fair
Thank
enough.
you, Marcus, if you're listening.
It's worth that training day, wasn't it?
Was.
SME. We go. Get an ROI on your SME. Right, yes, but do get in touch with us. Pop either me or Ash or Paul. Don't connect with Paul. You're not gonna get a nice response. Connect with. Don't message Ashley. You're going to get your best stuff getting, but only do it, by the way, only reach out to Ash if you are, I'd suggest you send a message at a time where you have got 30 minutes immediately for a phone call. Because that tends to be how he operates. If you connect with him,
modus operandi.
If you touch base with him, he's phoning you straight away. Do you remember like 141 callback?
He didn't call me back straight away. Took him a couple of weeks. I'll still remind him of that. I actually phoned him last night. He was shocked. I phoned him. I don't know if he's listening. I phoned him to ask how he was.
He's not here. He's poorly, by the way.
I could tell by his way he responded that he was shocked that he'd got that phone call.
He probably thought he was in trouble. You know, the school phones your mum.
Speaking, hold on.
I'm here, guys. He rang me with some quite good stuff that's going on, and I said, "Oh, it's the first time, Paul. I've felt ill all week," and I said, "It's the first time, Paul, you've actually called me, and I feel pretty good, mate." So he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Normally I would walk off the phone call like, oh." But no, I said, "Is that you actually?"
You just sucked the life out of him. I didn't in this phone call. I gave him some energy.
Breathe some life into him rather than trying to ruin the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was a good call.
And didn't I start the phone call with "How are you, my friend"?
And I was edgy. I was edgy.
Because that's normally a build-up, isn't it? That's a bit. It's like someone who's got a knuckle duster in their pocket. You all right, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I was edgy, and but it come to the end of it that I was. It was a good call, very good call.
Are you feeling any better?
Oh, no. I'm literally walking around my house like I'm in a spaceship. I feel like I've had some of them cakes that James was talking about this morning. I remember bits of the conversation, but I remember talking to you last night, so I'm going a bit weird again, mate. So yeah. I'm back to you guys, for I don't know what I'm talking about.
He's gone, isn't he? He's lost it. He's not got the vid though, has he? So what is it? Everyone just expects it to be
he says he hasn't got that, but come on, right? So there's one vital component in this. The guy's done 2 lateral flow tests, okay? But there's human error, and if human error is going to creep in, I would say it's going to creep in with Ashley doing a test. Like this, like the ability to follow the instructions.
See, this is what he does.
That are inside the box.
He did.
I would probably say he hasn't read them.
I found a faster way of doing it.
See.
I'll give it to Maria, my PA. She shoved up her nose and she's negative, so I can't have it.
Yeah, so I would say that the chances of probability that he probably has, the fact that he's done 2 of his own lateral flow tests,
this is where
people, are not a good marker for success.
This is where people have an issue with you, though, Paul Applecrumble.
Why?
You've done a nice thing last night. You've made him feel good, right? You phoned him out of nowhere. You put him on edge.
I told him this last night.
Right.
He was like,
and then you bring him back down the next day.
No, I told him on the phone. He was like, I've done 2 tests. I haven't got it. I said, you've done the tests. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Maybe we should get Charlotte to do the tests.
I'm going to give you what actually happened. So Charlotte walked in with 2 tests, and she said, "Please have it so I can move out for a week." that was the exact and then she's standing there, putting this thing up my nose in the back of my throat, sitting there. She was so disappointed that I didn't have it.
Do you know what? Those new tests as well, you don't have to do the back of the throat thing. So she done that just purely for her own enjoyment. Savage.
Tell her to get a Sharpie pen.
Yeah, mark the line. No, do you know what I realised with the test the first time I had it? I was doing a test, putting it on the side. The line that shows negative was coming up immediately, and I was going, "Oh yeah, it's negative," throwing it in the bin. Right, but not leaving it on the side for 20 minutes.
Exposed, yeah.
And then 20 minutes later, you go back. I went back to the bin to check the result, and it's showing as a positive.
Super spreader. It's bad news, isn't it, when your wife wants you to have a serious ailment so she can move out from you for a week? I'm sure Hayley would have done the same, to be fair.
It's only because she's going away for the weekend, so she was just finding she just didn't want to be ill. So I think that was the reason, or she just wanted to move out and just get away from me for a week, which I don't blame her.
So not only are you unwell, you've now got the joy of having your kids all weekend, which is a joy, by the way.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've got my kids to look after me all weekend.
Note to self, when she's leaving the house for this weekend away, at no point refer to looking after the kids as babysitting. If you do that, you're on a high road to nowhere. I've made that mistake.
I've been there, I've done it, and I've got the T-shirt, and I won't be saying it again.
Yeah. Right. On another, so next year I've upped the amount of seats I've got at Spurs next year.
Have you?
Yeah. Because all my kids,
all the kids want to go.
all the kids.
Have you, Paul?
I have, yeah. All my kids are interested in football. Have become sort of super fans, and I haven't been able to take all of them. So you have to make a decision on what kids to take. So they've been on like almost a rota, and I'm taking one to every game.
Just take your favourite. That's easier.
So anyway, so I've got the ability to take 3 of them to every game. So we've gone up to 4 seats. So we can take more of them, right? My wife, like, you're not taking 3 kids on your own. Well, why not? No, this is not happening. I was like, but why not? Like, you can't cope with one. I'm like, but how do you know I can't cope with one? That's your assumption that I can't cope with one. Because if you ask the child, they've had a perfectly good experience. And then my daughter's something, yeah, Dad, you do struggle a little bit when you're like trying to carry the programme and carry out hot chocolate and trying to get us some food and trying to struggle to get your phone out of your pocket to get the ticket. She said, could you imagine if you now got to carry 3 hot chocolates and 3 programmes and try and sit us all down? I was like, you're really not helping the cause here. But yeah, at this moment, I'm not allowed to take out the 3 kids on my own, apparently.
That's so
to a football
funny.
match. So I've got till next August to prove that I can.
I love when the kids are just so sort of
throw you under the bus
big time. I remember there was one day our little one, he had his fingers in the door frame and I didn't see. I went to close the door and I caught his finger a little bit and he screamed and he screamed and he screamed. And I ended up taking the bigger ones to school. And the little one was still screaming as I left the house, and I was like, "Oh, I hope George is all right." Just having a general conversation. I went, "I hope George is all right." And Louis, my bigger one, he's only 5. He went, "Yeah, so do I." I went, "God, lucky you got lucky mummy's around. At least you got one good parent, expecting some sort of loving support back." And he went, "Yeah, that's true, Dad." He went, "Honestly, you are terrible." That was it. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
Do you want an ice cream after school? You're not having one.
Yesterday, every Tuesday and Thursday we have PT at my house. The trainer comes and
he put photos of you up. Did you see that?
I saw that. I don't like that.
You looked angry. You looked so angry.
So for the first hour, so he comes at 8, and 8 till 9 I'll do PT, and 9 till 10 my wife will do PT. By that time, one of us has done the school run, or my wife will do the school run first, and then there'll be one child left at home, my youngest son Ralph. So, and he has this thing of he likes tea and toast. So he knows when the PT my wife goes into the gym, he'll come to me, "Dad, tea and toast," and he'll want to sit down and watch Thomas the Tank Engine with his tea and toast. Okay?
Oh, that's brilliant.
But he can now reach the drawer of the fridge that's got chocolate in it, which is deadly because he goes and helps himself. He knows how to open the drawer, get chocolate out. Okay, go get anything out of the fridge. The other day we came down, there was a whole pack of apples, like 6 apples or something you get in a pack. He'd opened the pack and he'd taken a bite out of each apple and just left the apples on the floor. Okay, so he's now, we've got to do something with the fridge because he's getting to the fridge. We've never had that problem with kids. We've never, they've never had to lock the cupboards or or do any of that stuff, like child-proof the house, because none of them have ever been interested in that. But this one will get anything out the fridge. He can, like, literally will climb up the side of the fridge door to try and reach and do all sorts. So yesterday he came to me with a chocolate. And if he goes to the cupboard and gets a chocolate, my wife's not listening, so my wife said, no, you don't have a chocolate, put that back. She's very strict, right? Obviously he comes to Daddy with a chocolate.
He gets to have the chocolate.
Go on then, have the chocolate, right?
Don't tell your mum.
Yeah. So anyway, so he sits down on the sofa and he has a chocolate. And then I was coming into the office yesterday, so I said, right, he sat down, he had his little cup of tea, and he loves a cup of tea with 1 sugar in it. Not good, I know the sugar, but he likes it. So anyway, so he has his little cup of tea in his Fireman Sam cup mug, and then he had his chocolate. Okay, we go upstairs. I say, look, come up and sit on the bed with Daddy while Daddy jumps in the shower, because I was coming into the office. So I got changed, and in this whole hour, 10 o'clock, as soon as my wife has finished at 10, I'm walking out the door to get in the car. So that was how it was all planned out. Anyway, Ben, the PT, leaves. Wife comes upstairs. She said, "You've given him a chocolate, haven't you?" I said, and he looks at me, right? And I didn't really answer. She went, "I know he's got a chocolate because look at him, right?" But it turns out I didn't know. while I was in the gym, she'd got him dressed for the day, and apparently they was going out somewhere, so he was wearing clothes to go out. I didn't know that. I didn't really pay much attention. As I looked at him, this chocolate is all down his ice cream top, all down the front of it, like chocolate dribble. Have you ever had chocolate dribble from kids? It just goes down the top, and it's like evidence is there.
Yeah.
So I didn't answer when she said, you've given him a chocolate. I thought, selective hearing, ignore that. Didn't hear it. Carry on with what I was doing. I think I was ironing a pair of jeans. Just ignore it. As I turned and looked at him, I saw all this chocolate dribble down his top. I was like, oh, Ralph, you're doing me no favours here, my friend. And he just looked at me with his little eyes. What do I say?
Well, one of us.
Even at 2, he's just looking at me. What do I say? Come on, Dad, you jump in and say something.
They will happily throw under the bus.
Yeah, we got caught in the act.
Caught out. Well, at least this is why that my wife, she's like, she went, you always get to be the fun one. Are you the fun one in your house? Because she's like the more...
I'm the fun one, but I'm also the one that will be the ultimate discipline person if it gets to it. Like, I can look at the kids and use a tone of voice and they will whimper and run. Like, they know they've done something wrong. Whereas, because my wife doesn't really have that effect on them, if she's telling them off, especially the boys, I'm finding the boys won't... we've got to knock it out. Well, that's not the right word. You can't say that, knock it out of them. But you get what I mean. They're developing a bit of a trait where they won't listen to their mum. Maybe it's a boy thing, but like Joe will say, "Don't do that," and they'll just carry on doing it. And then I'll say, "Boys, don't do that," and they're like, and run away. You know, they'll stop doing it. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's just a boy-child thing that we've got to get round.
Because your 2 youngest ones are both boys, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. They would always just throw you under the bus, them little.
Yeah. So they're
weren't they?
But yeah, kids say and climbing. We've never had a climber, but our youngest son at the moment.
It was a nightmare.
We came downstairs the other day. We'd upstairs, and he was down. We'd left all the kids downstairs. We were both upstairs doing something. Come down. He's standing in the middle of the dining room table. Like, what the hell? How did you get up there? You know, and he's obviously now we've had to move chairs because he can climb onto the dining room table. He's just standing in the middle of the table.
We've had to baby proof because we've got like a weird staircase in this new house, and it's got like big gaps in it, which you could definitely get a child through. Like, it would never pass health and safety these days. And so we've had to like put some. You told me where to get it from, so I've bought 3.5 meters of perspex, clear perspex from the top of the stairs, and it cut to size, so that could be.
You got it from that place.
Got it from that place. Okay. Yeah, it's brilliant. Like 300 quid for a bit of plastic.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So we had to baby proof that. We had to baby proof his door. He would just climb everything. But now he's worked out that if he, like with the baby gates, they've got like the sort of the bolts on them with the adjustable things. And he's worked out if he unscrews the bolt, then the bolt isn't too tight, so then he can just whip the door off. He's either going to be a genius or
do you know what as well?
Nightmare.
And it never stops. Like, you're having these uncomfortable situations with the kids. My 12-year-old is now, right, so any of the fathers in the room that have daughters that are 12, they'll relate to this, and the mums will be like, oh my God. My 12-year-old's doing sex education. Okay.
Oh, at 12?
Yeah, so so they're coming home and they're having discussion topics that they're being asked to discuss at home.
Oh, you have to.
I can't be present for it. Honestly, I have to walk out. Cannot. It just makes me feel really, really, really uncomfortable. I've just got to get out of the room. Like, so Joey's trying to use, like, they're watching certain TV programs, and then like when there's a teachable moment, my wife will pause it and sort of say to me, "Do you know what they're talking about there? Or do you know, like, do you want me to explain something there?" And I'm like, I've got to get up, walk away. Cannot be present for this conversation.
Leave the room.
Yeah, leave the room.
Leave the room. Our niece is.
If you look at the list of topics that they're getting asked to discuss, honestly, you've got boys, so it'd be okay. And she's like, to me, well, when the boys get there, you're going to have to talk about that. And I'm like, okay, well, I sort of will feel comfortable talking about it with the boys, but not my 12-year-old daughter.
Just can't do
who,
it.
In my eyes, is my little girl. And you look at these discussion topics she's brought home from school to discuss. Honestly. Turns your stomach inside out. Cannot have those conversations. So I'm thankful my wife is leading that charge, because I certainly, not prepared to have those conversations.
Ever. And
I'm sure there's other people that have been in that situation with kids that are that age. Jesus Christ.
Our niece has just got her first boyfriend. She's like 15. And she was at home like for the day by herself on bank holiday. Like, oh, what's Maddie doing? One day she had a mate over, and then she got this boy. I'm like, huh? Who's this boy? I just like by default get protective. She's like, oh, apparently it's Maddie's boyfriend.
Have you ever seen?
Who is this kid?
Have you ever seen Bad Boys, the first one, where they open the door to the boyfriend?
Oh yeah.
That's how I'm going to open the door. The first ever time if a boyfriend knocks on the door. Anyone watch Bad Boys and see Will Smith and who's the other one?
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. How
It's
they
so
open the door
good.
to the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, it's brilliant. That is. That's how to parent.
And truth is stranger than fiction, based on what's happened with Will Smith. There you go.
Yeah. Oh.
That's still rumbling in the background, isn't it? Do you see P. Diddy got involved in that on the night? I saw a behind the scenes video. He's like, boys, we're going to go sort this out like a family on a golf course. But for now, let's just get on with the awards. It's just super weird. Anyway, right, Gail, sorry, you flashed about half an hour ago and we've taken that long to get to you. Gail, we're coming to you for a win of the week. If you're still there. Oh, I think Gail might have gone. She's left the building. Flippity flip. Sorry, Gail. We went on so long that we've lost her. Right, give us a flash of the mic. I can see some flashes going on. If you'd like to share your win of the week, then you are more than welcome to do so. Keep flashing so we can see you. Let's go Les, Lisa and Sarah. Les, will come to you first, pal.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for having me. And my win is at 58 years old. I just started doing Taekwondo again. And I've survived 2 weeks of doing 4 sessions a week and a couple of workouts at the gym. And I can tell you this, I didn't know my body could hurt this much because it never hurt this much at 30 or 20. And I think that's a win. I'm still alive and actually fallen back in love with it because it's been, close to 30 years since I used to do martial arts. And I took it on because he became a client, and I said, "Well, I better get to work, so I know what it's all about." So that's a huge win for me, and just a huge shout out to my wife, who is a mother of 4, has a 6-pack on her stomach and 2 packs on each side, who has been rooting for me to take it to the next level for about 3 years, and I finally listened. So I took a little coaching from my wife. There you go. That's another win. So that's 2 wins.
Double wins this week.
Now I'll hand it back to you.
Double wins. Awesome stuff. Great. I remember the first time my mate, we were training quite a lot at this point. We were doing Stevie D. You've met Steve, haven't you? He's like
Steve Duran, yeah.
He's in very good shape and competes at like CrossFit.
One of those guys that makes
level.
you feel really uncomfortable when you see him.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Like all the time. At one point, we were training like 5 days a week. And he's like, oh, we just like doing like cool stuff. We like going like jumping in a lake and go swimming. And he's like, let's do some like fun recovery stuff. So we went to do, to Leslie's point, we went to do Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga, right? And I'm thinking, there's
hot yoga. What do you mean hot yoga?
It's in a hot room.
Okay.
Bikram yoga. Have you never heard of Bikram yoga?
I've tried yoga once and it lasted about 2 minutes.
So Bikram yoga it's like yoga, but it's in a very hot room. So it's like 100 degrees and it's like big humidity because in theory it warms your muscles up, so therefore you can get deeper into stretches. If you can't stretch, then frankly it doesn't make any flipping difference, as I found out that day. But anyway, so me and Steve go along. I'm thinking, well, we're training 5 days a week. Steve is ripped to bits, and at that point I was quite healthy as well. I'm thinking we're going to smash this, and he was like, he said, this is really.
Sorry, get rid of that. Someone's calling me.
He said, this is tough, by the way. He said, Bikram yoga is actually really tough. And I'm thinking, tough. We're training 5 days a week, mate. Come on, we'll be all right. We've done cold water, stuff in the lake. We'll be fine. Categorically, I have never ached so much in my entire life. It's unbelievable because these sessions are like an hour, and you go in there, and there was a girl at the front who was leading it, and she was so like super lean. But I'm thinking, well, obviously she sat in like basically an oven all day long, stretching. She's going to be lean, but she was in such amazing shape, and not like, oh, she's like in nice, like she was like a physical specimen of not an ounce fat on her. I was thinking, well, this Bikram yoga stuff must work. Honest to God, I ached inside out. Like the middles of my leg, when you get DOMS from like a leg day, but it hurts on like the outside.
Yeah.
Like the bones in my legs hurt. That's how it felt. I just couldn't. I've never had anything like it. Like my hip bones, I was like, I think my bones have broken. I think I've like ground my bones down or something. It was so unbelievable. So get back into something new physical fitness wise.
Jagdeep's just said watch the Netflix series on Bikram yoga. Wasn't there some scandal about Bikram yoga or something? Or the guy that... No, wasn't there? Is that the wrong... Have I got...
Yes, you got to watch.
Yeah, there was.
A scandal with hot yoga?
Well, there's different trademarks for different yoga techniques, and the guy who did the Bikram, there was a whole thing around it. But hot yoga is different to Bikram yoga. Bikram yoga is a certain way, different modality, if you like, because there's different types. But I love hot yoga. It's normal yoga, but in a hot studio. Fantastic.
Oh, maybe I did that one then. I'm not sure. It was hot. I did some yoga in a hot room. That's all I know. I thought I was doing Bikram. I thought I was going to have to get some like flowery trousers. It was all good.
Yoga is one of the toughest thing you do. The thing is, people do it from I think it's a physical fitness thing. It's not. It's more about the breath and connecting breath, body and mind. Because yoga, direct translation means union. So union between the breath, the body, and the mind. And if you breathe in a certain way with certain movements, it's about how that's all connected to the chakras. But a lot of people do yoga from an exercise point of view. And I started yoga 3 years ago. Before that, like you, James, oh my God, it was horrible. But once you understand,
Has he gone full robot?
it's not about, and you have to let go of it that you're failing. Oh, it's a robot. There's no failure in yoga. It's just what you go with your body and your breath. This is practice. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think that's where I went wrong, because I went into it like, oh, I'm going to downward dog the shit out of this. Look how far I can bend down. And actually, I was like, you've covered at this from the wrong place. They were like, would you like a block? Would you like a resting block? I was like, no, I don't want a resting block. And about 15 minutes into holding this pose, I'm like, I think I should have had the block.
You was in the place where you thought you was tough, though, weren't you, at that point?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Mr. Tough Guy.
I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm still there. There's only one time where I don't think I'm tough, and that's in it. Street fights in Lewisham. On every level, that's a bad memory. Anyway, right, let's go on. For more shares, some more shares for wins of the week. Lisa, we're coming to you next.
Good morning. You have made me laugh on my dog walk the whole way round. So first of all, thank you so much for that. I've got 2 wins, if that's okay. First of all, I was awarded Personal Stylist of the Year 2022 by the UK Enterprise Awards this week. So that was my massive win. Now, I know we're only 4 months into 2022, but I'm going to take that one and plaster that everywhere. So yeah, super excited about that. And my other personal win is after 4 months of pulling together inheritance tax information for my late mum's estate, I'm done it. And if anyone has ever gone down an inheritance tax route, it is a living nightmare. So I'm done and I'm ready to file probate. So that is a massive win, because after 4 months of sifting through paperwork and bank statements and everything like that, I'm ready to go now. So yeah, that's my personal win. So those are my wins for this week, everybody.
Awesome stuff. Some good wins there. Some very good wins. Yeah, the probate thing, that's tough, isn't it? Because you have to do all this like paperwork stuff and dotting I's and crossing T's, but fundamentally you're still really sad because you've lost somebody. So it's a horrible thing to go through, isn't it? I think Paul's not listening to the conversation we're having because he's laughing at
I'm reading the chat.
channel.
I'm reading the chat.
What's going on in the chat?
Oh, just all kinds of Bikram yoga, all kinds of hell, being covered in other people's sweat, the farting, fainting, and transparent speedos. So I'm not sure where Sandy's been and done Bikram yoga. I'm not sure she's been in well advised in locations, frankly. Hilarious.
I could tell you so many stories for sure. I teach Bikram for 20 years. I could tell you so many stories.
He's gone. He's gone.
So Ben, who you recommended to us, my PT, right? So he the first time he ever came round to our house, it was September last year. So he took us outside into the garden, right? And he just wanted to do a bit of a fitness test of what we were like.
I remember, yeah.
Right? So he's done this fitness test. We were terrible. But he's demonstrated exercises, right? So he's got down. He wanted us to do this certain type of sit-ups. So me and my wife are both laying there in a sit-up position, ready to do sit-ups. And he's laid down almost like next to us to demonstrate doing a sit-up, right? Well, he's done this sit-up. And obviously, as he's done it, the loudest fart has come out for him. Right? Which guys find that sort of thing funny.
It's never not funny.
Right? But he just ignored it like it didn't happen. Right? He was like, I'm sorry. He's like, just carried on. Just deny, ignore. It was so loud. And I started laughing like I am now, burst into laughing. And I could see Joe looking at me going, like, what? Like, are you just going to ignore that? And afterwards, she was like, did you hear that fart that he let slip out? I was like, yeah. Well, it was like, what do you know? He was doing a sit-up. He can't really help it, can he? He's in an uncomfortable position. He's obviously got a bit of gas that's just popped out. But it was a funny situation. That just reminded me.
It's never. Why is it never not funny? Never not funny. Right, let's get another win of the week. Sarah, we're coming to you next.
Hi guys, first and foremost, do you know what? I think it's a boy thing because my little one, he's only 2. Now, at no point would he have known that we would laugh at his farts. But as soon as he farts, he laughs and looks at us for confirmation that he thinks it's funny. And I'm like,
mine's the same.
Yeah, both my boys do it. They laugh at each other when they do it.
It must be hardwired.
I just wonder if it's just the flapping of the bum cheeks that causes some sort of hysteria. I have no idea. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I could tell you all sorts of stories about my mountain climbing 2-year-old who thinks that, kitchen units are the equivalent of Mount Everest and, what's within the gold and the treasure behind the cupboard doors is just another story. But yeah, I want to tell you just a quick win. So I have been quietly working on a quiz, and I literally had been procrastinating on this for probably about 3 months. And I think the reason why was because I was a little bit scared on how people were going to maybe perhaps interpret this quiz because it's quite close to the bone. However, I'd had a conversation with a couple of really lovely coaches and says to them, this is what it is. Can you test it for me and tell me and be honest and brutally honest? And they were like, Sarah, we have not had a quiz that is this close to the bone, but actually gives us that real aha moment of, oh my goodness, like, yes, this is what my belief pattern is based on. So I have created this quiz. I've been sat on it for ages. And this week I've literally launched it brand spanking new. And for anyone that, kind of likes to go forward with, their success story, but knows there's something that keeps just holding them back. And either they're maybe really aware of it and they just want confirmation that, yes, that is what it is. Or maybe it's something that they're not really aware of, but they feel that they're consistently being hit by brick walls or the voids or they're being stuck in treacle. Please give the quiz a try and let's just see if we can help you figure out and at least start to recognize where your belief is and where, in essence, that power is. And I give you that fresh breath air to go, oh, so if that's where it is, I can take that back. So my win today is I have released my quiz and I would love and nothing more than if you guys could all try it and even give me feedback, even come back here onto Clubhouse, drop me a DM. And even if you think it's absolutely shower of shit or you think it's absolutely fantastic, I'm up for it all. I'm a big girl. I've got my big girl pants on because it's Friday. The guns are out, forget your yoga. I'm flipping tires today. So that's my win for the week, guys. Thank you.
Sarah's taking no prisoners this morning, gang. Awesome stuff. Good win of the week. It's always good. You got yourself together.
I've just got so many fart stories. It's unbelievable. My kids, just on the fart thing, my 2-year-old, he fart was one of the first words he could say, believe it or not. And I don't know how to take that. But he'll do it and he'll go, fart. Just shout it out randomly, and you look at, but he'll do it in the most like walking in the supermarket or you're just somewhere where you shouldn't be, and he'll fart and he'll go fart.
It's so good. Ours have got an awful habit, and I don't know where this has come from. So our little one's not quite talking yet. So he's 20 months. So he's not really, and he's getting really frustrated because he understands what he wants to say and he's trying to communicate stuff. But Louis was talking about, I think he was talking about 1. So George has been a little bit slower to the party and he's getting really annoyed. But he tries to talk to Alexa because he obviously hears us talking to Alexa all the time. So he gets going, nah. And he gets really, really, really annoyed. And for weeks he was getting annoyed and he was shouting. And I was like, what is it he's doing? And for some reason... so in our house, everything has to be gamified with the kids, doesn't it, right? So they make a big mess. And before they had like a little separate toy room, so it didn't really matter. Shut the door, the problem's gone. But the new house is all open plan. So like the mess is in, there's like a living room area and there's like a kids area. So we had to get them to tidy the toys up. Now the better parents in this room might be going, well, just discipline your children and make them tidy the toys up, but they don't do it. So we have to gamify it. So for some reason, we decided to play the Benny Hill theme music. So we've got the Benny Hill theme music, and the idea is like everyone, by the end of the song, everyone has to have tidied up their toys. So I helped them out the first few times. Anyway, at some point, I'm not really sure how this happened, but our oldest one, Louis, has decided that to add more fun to the game, at the beginning of the Benny, so you got to imagine the scene. Benny Hill theme music, which has got all the connotations of Benny Hill anyway. He strips his clothes off and just runs around. So he's cleaning up, no toys now. He's just going to be naked and just run. Funny the first time. I'm absolutely howling the first time. That's the worst thing you can do with kids. Give them a reaction that they think, oh, right, brilliant. Now, so the other one, who is 20 months, he's still in nappies, he's like, hang on, he's getting a laugh. This looks funny. So now the next time Benny Hill comes on, again to try and reiterate that we're going to start tidying up time. Because at school they do it. They got the Mission Impossible music. So when it's like seat time, you have to they play the music and everyone tidies up, and then you sit down on your spot. So we're thinking we'll do the same thing. So now the little one, 20 months, is now ripping his nappy off and running around the house to Benny Hill theme music, to the point where now he won't go to bed without going up. And he goes, no. I'm like, what is he saying? And I worked out, because he's getting so frustrated for weeks. He's going to Alexa, play the Benny Hill theme music, at which point he then rips his nappy off,
so that lesson
and just runs
well
around naked for 2 minutes, and he refuses to go to bed before
That's
that.
a boy thing, though. My two boys, they'll get out the bath at bath time. Have you ever seen the scene in Borat, the film, where you've Borat and Borat's assistant, whoever it is, they're running through the hotel naked?
Yes, yeah.
Through the corridors and wrestling naked. That's like bath time in my house. So you'll get them out the bath, you'll dry them both off, and then they'll run around the corridor, like the hallway, in and out of other bedrooms, like, to wind their sisters up. They'll run into and start wrestling with each other. You know, my wife, is that a boy thing? Like, it must just be their boys' person, because they've not been taught to do that.
No.
They just want to run around naked and then jump on each other. It's just a boy. He's just
Kids
boys.
are so funny, aren't they?
So I came in just on the last poop story, right, before we finished, because this is funny.
End of the week strong.
So I came in last week, and my son's going to me. So I'm trying to work out what he's going like that. What is he doing? Right? So it went on for about an hour. He's coming up to me. He's going, Dada. So what's going on here? So I said, so I found my oldest daughter. I said, what is Ralph trying to say? Because she's like his translator. She seems to be on the same wavelength. She can understand what he's saying. She said, no, he's telling you what Mummy done. So I said, what? When we came in from school, my wife's not told me this, but this just goes to show kids. She said, he'd done a poo in his nappy. And my wife went to check his nappy, as parents have probably done. And as she's pulled his nappy off, something slipped. Well, anyway, the contents of the nappy has ended up on her hand and up her arm. So apparently she ran over to the sink, being like, trying to, like, not like, she doesn't like that type of stuff. She goes, like gagging, trying to be sick, right? Gagging big time. Okay. So now my youngest son has taken, every time my wife goes to change his nappy, he goes, and does a gagging impression. And she is quite a good wind-up, because she doesn't know what he's doing. So nobody's told her. Well, she's going, what is he doing? But we're not telling her. But within our little circle, within the other kids, it's the ongoing joke. It's because she gagged last time she done it. So now he's replicating the gag every time she goes to change his nappy.
Just can't. It's the stuff that you don't want them to pick up on. They just instantly just clicks, doesn't it? Just sticks with them.
My youngest one's a parrot, so he'll repeat anything we say. So the other day, I think I shouted and I swore the F word. Right.
Oh, no.
And he actually, I was in the garden and I was trying to cut down this bit of a tree, and it fell on me. And I went, fuck you. Like that. And he turned around and he went, fuck you. No, don't say that. Don't say that. You can't say that. He walked in the house saying it. Of course he does. Fuck you. No. That went down well.
The life of kids.
So then she went, see, that's why you can't take them to football.
Yeah.
That right there is an example of why you're not taking three of them.
Backed up her point, unfortunately, there, mate. Backed up her point entirely. Well, thanks, gang, for being here this morning. We started off with a serious chat about the world of crypto and the fact that you've been brought into the inner sanctum of the banking sector. And we've ended the show with poo stories and fart gags. So, you never know where these conversations are going to go here in the Winners Club. Cheers for your ears.
The thing is, we're not unique. I can guarantee every parent has had that experience.
Every single parent. cheers for your ears this week. As always, we are going to be back next week. We've got more great content, tangible, actionable, usable content for your life and your business, and a bit of banter and some community shares as well thrown in for good measure, because why not? Whatever you're up to this weekend, make sure you have a lovely weekend. Marvin, it sounds like, has got a room a bit later on, which our very own Julie's going to be featuring on at about 11 o'clock. So make sure you go and support that if you are here in the Winners Club as well. And we've got lots of cool stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you click on that green Monopoly house at the top of the room to be informed of the cool stuff we're up to every time that we go live. And other than that,
you've got to go and get the desk ready for your employee that's starting at 12:30.
I've got to go. Yeah, I can't wait. Have I dressed up appropriately for him? I'm going to go buy a suit.
Well, you're setting you're setting a tone. I'm not quite sure on the tone that you're setting, but you are certainly setting a tone.
A tone, fine. Anything from you, Captain Crypto, as we wrap up the week? Any words of motivation or inspiration for people?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Press the button then. We'll go. We'll see you on Monday.
Not yet, anyway. There probably is. I'll have to say.
Yeah, okay then. Ta-da. See you on Monday. Bye.
Ciao
Have a
for
lovely
now.
weekend. Bye.